right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Owen loves his mama.
5 seconds remaining. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is all over.
Owen!
The Edmonton Oilers have won the
Owen!
For the win. Draisaitl centers. McDavid tips it home.
Owen!
Gretzky going in. Suter trying to get back. Gretzky with his money score.
It's the 6 o'clock and check-in. Come on, let's go.
And he scores. Leon Draisaitl.
It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
And there it is. Zach Hyman.
Static AM radio. It's the cool Ben, that high Nielson show. Let's go.
The Oilers pouring it on.
Owen!
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Smith from behind the net, a wraparound. Horton scores! Horton scores! Edmonton wins!
Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
You hurt his ass!
Macramalla intros are cutting like a knife.
That is an absolutely pitifully bad call.
Hey, it's Mitch texting in. He's your dealer for life.
It is Marchand scores!
It's back at 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin.
McDavid, beautiful move. In on the box. What can you say?
Let's see the Curry score!
Here they come, the Oilers. It's dropped back. Buchberger shoots, scores! Buchberger! The Oilers win it!
The Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
Who the hell are you?
Good morning. Happy Game 2 day. Game 2 today. 6:03 Nielsen Show. It's Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, Zacticum behind the monitors. Good morning to you. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube, where the party is already started. You can have your moss pits. The nasty chat is where you want to be this postseason, pre, post, and during our live programming throughout the day, Monday to Friday, here on Edmonton Sports Talk. The drive to 700 continues, Gager, today, as we'll see if we can get that like count up. We're already, we've eclipsed, 30 here prior to us even getting on air, 36. It's a good pace. We'll see if it keeps up. I'd like to think it does on Game 2 today. How you doing? Hopefully you all rested up Tuesday, took a little time to lick your wounds and get ready for battle number 2 today. Kings and Oilers, with Edmonton holding that 1-0 lead. Let's just go over the show today, live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. As always, treat yourself on a game day. Get a little something going on in the stomach. Get a little patting on the gut prior to tonight, and the liquids that'll find home inside your system. Some chicken, some fish, some poutine. They got it all for you down at Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. So maybe start your day with a little early lunch down there. We will have your morning announcements coming up for 100.3 The Bear. Lots of things going on last night. Stanley Cup playoffs as well, continuing NBA postseason as well. Jays on the wrong end of a decision last night, but still holding strong in the American League East. Mike Johnson of TSN, our hockey analyst, he'll be by at around 6:30 this morning. It is a busy season for our insiders and analysts, so Mike has to shuffle in here. We'll have Noodles back Friday morning, but Mike Johnson, 6:30 today, opening hour. You get a little Mystic Mike for you, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, which means that Tales of the North to get you set for Game 2. That'll be coming up at around 7:05. Myself, Joaquin Gage. I've presented the dagger to Zacticum as well, so we'll see if he can cook up anything for Tales of the North. In that segment, 7:05, 7:20, Quebec, Canada, hotline of the day. Free advice, DamonBunting.com. That's on the way at 7:30. Our legal analyst, Eric Macramalla, will stop by at 7:40. Brought to you by the fine folks at Park Mazda. We'll get his thoughts on the Stanley Cup playoffs thus far. That's good from the Italian Center Shop. I do believe there are a few routes from last night, specifically down Florida way, where we could go for an that's good. But we'll Halloween until then, around 7:50ish. Final hour of the show, taking you through trivia. Mr. Mike's 3 questions to Mini Park Mazda. Your Vegas keyword this morning. I know that's why a majority of you are here making your way through the show. That'll be around 8:20. Final week of qualifying. We'll be giving away the prize on Friday. That's 2 nonstop flights to and from Vegas. You get to see a Cirque show, all that good stuff, courtesy of our friends at Fly YEG. That Vegas word coming up 8:20 this morning. Be by your phones for that. ESPN's Greg Wyshynski. Lots of guests today. We'll continue the hockey talk with him. Probably spend a little time out east as well with him. Weekly rankings of power for the Ranch Golf and Country Club. That's on the way at around 8:40 ahead of an orange and blue breakfast to get you set for Oilers and Kings Game 2 tonight. Down at Ice District, you can have your say as well. 780-218-9999. In the Paris Jewelers inbox, the ring blocks, the bling box, whatever you want to call it, box, really.
It's the ring box. It's the bling box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And they got lots of fancy, shiny things. Look at this, look at that. Not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men, too. The ring box, the bling box, the Paris Jewelers inbox.
And as Dustin Nielson does return to the show tomorrow, he did leave me some nice notes here, and I'll just say for Paris Jewelers, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. It's time to find something for you. The one you love at Paris Jewelers. Canadian and family-owned with 22 locations across the country. You can go check out our friends at PJ's. They'll look after you. Or you can hop online, make it easy for yourself, www.parisjewelers.com. Flexible financing options. Don't pay until 2025. You can get in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. And on the line for the best text of the day, $20 to A&W. And right now at A&W, you can try the new Stacker Burgers. I mentioned getting some food in your belly, in your gut before tonight. Head out to Popeyes for an early lunch. Maybe stop by A&W mid-afternoon today with your $20 winnings from text of the day. It's the A&W Stacker Burgers now available. Lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle. A new secret sauce is bound to have you coming back for more. You can get a single, double, or triple stacker starting at $3.99 today. So all those good things, $20 to A&W, your next chance at qualifying for a Vegas trip. 780-218-9999. And with that, we bring in Joaquin Gage. Again, it's been very fun working with yourself and Jason Milne, in and out and in, snip, snap, that type of thing. You kept a firm eye on Colorado Winnipeg last night. We'll get into last night. But how you feeling? Game 2, what are the vibes? I know we had the vibes heading into Game 1, maybe a little anxiety from people. I kind of noticed the city was it's kind of a lying in wait. They go out and they do what they do. You got to be feeling really bullish. I changed yesterday. I'm saying either 4 or 5. I was 6 or 7 boy earlier. But your thoughts, Game 2, waking up this morning.
I think I've approached this this spring, this playoff year, a little bit like most Oiler fans. It's haven't been jumping into the deep end of the pool right away. You know that you gotta show that you've been there.
Parts, I know, yeah.
You gotta show that you've been there before. You know, and I equate myself Speedo, obviously, water wings, and just slowly going in, wading into the nice lake, right? And I'm proud of myself so far. Like this is a long road, and even watching last night at some of the other action, you know, where this is a long drawn out process that I'm happy for Oilers fans because I think they're along the same page.
Well, and I think that's the attitude that certainly I'm picking up from the room and some of the comments post-game from a lot of these guys. There's a certain level-headedness. I know I like you wading into a pool. Water wings, Speedo, maybe a pool noodle as well.
Pool noodle,
you know, wrapping around the shoulders or under the leg, if you will, if you like to ride the horse. I know some people, it's dependent on what you prefer. But no, I think that is kind of the approach, and so be it. Glenn Ma tweeted the picture of the 6 o'clocker loggers on special, mind you, 4-pack. Get it today, buck off at Safeway and Sobeys Liquor. But he's got that little graphic of all these 6 o'clocker lager cans with the Stanley Cup bowl on top and just crossing one off at a time.
Oh, nice.
As you go, one can at a time.
So for fans, I think this is a thing you should do, and I'd like to see send them in your pictures. But usually in a dressing room, every team has a way of adding their number 16 of wins, right?
Okay,
so it's pucks or something. There's they show it in the dressing room. Let's see what you have incorporated with 6 o'clock or longer. That's a great. So the quest towards 16 wins. How are you going to count these up over the next couple months.
Well, it's a nice round number in a sense that you can get a 4-pack deal today. 4 times 4, correct? I'm doing my quick math here.
Perfect.
Right, Zactum?
Perfect.
4 times 4 is 16.
You got me. I love you. You got me. You always got me. You know what I mean? I can fall backwards, eyes closed, and there's Zactum to kind of pick me up and prop me back up. So 16 wins. You go out, you get the 6 o'clock lager today in the 4-pack, buck off a 4-pack, get the flat. And then maybe you set them up on your shelf, much like a voodoo doll type of thing.
Yeah.
Every win, you shotgun it.
Yeah.
There
you go. There you go.
And then you crush, or whatever you want to do, leave the crushed can on the thing. I'm
crushed
picking up
can?
that one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I really like
like
that. If you're doing that, though, or any other sort of, if you have your Adrian Kempe needle doll or whatever else you're doing to kind of will the Oilers, and it takes a village here, 780-218-9999. We can't accept pictures. So send in whatever you got. We'd love to see it. Maybe that's how you win text of the day as well, through some sort of a visual instead of just the words you normally text, or the Macramalla intros that we're so accustomed to as well on a Wednesday morning. 780-218-9999. It is Wednesday as well.
Move it, fat boy!
You've seen Throw Mama from it. Yeah,
no.
Okay.
It was...
I have PVR'd if you want to come by.
Well, it's actually on, I believe, one of the streaming services. I actually looked.
Yeah.
But I was in the Arnold camp from that vintage with Stallone and Arnold going separate ways when they entered the comedic realm. I sticked with Arnold. I was a Jingle All the Way, Kindergarten Cop. I didn't
Twins.
go Sly. Twins. Like Arnold kind of destroyed Sly in that realm. But no, I have to, because these little clips. I think it's something that I'll find. I'm gonna laugh.
You're gonna piss your pants.
Yeah, my neighbors will hear me laugh for sure.
I got a rice ball in my ear.
But it's the Goonies, the evil girl from the Goonies.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Anne Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one. We love her dearly. If you want any requests as well from that Throw Mama from a Train soundboard, I'll do my best to kind of make it work for you. What are we at here? Like, subscribe, get on the YouTube. Let's see what we can do today. It's the final day that Dusty's away, mind you. I think we've got probably 700 likes in total, easily, since he's been gone. But let's try to smash this one. Game 2 today. And we'll see if we can hit that like threshold of 700. I'll take 6, take 5.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm surprised we shattered 300. I was like, oh, Dusty's they're massive shoes.
Here's you
to
with
fill.
those taking it slowly, step by step. I like this.
The waiting.
Let's get to 100 and then.
Yeah. I thought me in a Speedo was at least few likes, please.
It wasn't Jay shaking his pom-poms yesterday, but we're getting close. Hey?
Yeah.
It's 6 o'clock.
Great job by him, by the way. I enjoyed
Jay comes to play, man.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy for a reason. And between hawking furniture during the afternoons and coming in here and dealing sports talk in the mornings, he's a five-tool player. We did have some action last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs. As usual, opening round, thick and fast. The Rangers getting past the Capitals 4-3. Any thoughts there? This is kind of let's textbook series, get it out of the way sort of thing. Is there any sort of speed bump or question mark for the Rangers coming out of that one that you'd
No,
like
I
to
think
spend
that's
some time on here?
That's the one when I don't know who I was doing it with. Was it you? We were saying who was going to sweep.
That's the one.
Yeah, and that was a unanimous vote for all of us. That was the series that it's kind of sad because you see the aging Ovi, and
we knew that spot. We warned them. Whoever got that spot, it's not going to be.
Yeah, that's tough. That's the Rangers are good, but saying that they're the next round they're handling the Capitals quite easily. I'd say it's going to be jumping on a treadmill at 12 for them.
Who needs rest if you don't need it?
Yeah,
I don't know. You kind of want to keep going. Yeah. Panthers over Lightning 3-2 in overtime. I know Zactigum's gushing over this series, fascinated by it, just can't keep his eyes off it. Zach, your thoughts? Panthers going 2 up now on the Bolts following an overtime win.
Well, it's a fantastic series because they have 2 superstar Russian goaltenders that are just fantastic, and both of their teams are very quick on the puck. They can storm in on the offense, and I knew this was going to be one of the series to watch. That was on the top of my list for viewing purposes, but Tampa, they put up a fight, but I got Panthers in this series for sure, and the Panthers taking a 2-0 series lead is big. I thought in moments there, especially Bobrovsky with that huge
the elbow stop. You ever made an elbow save there, Gage?
Yeah, I've thrown the arm back in certain situations.
It's kind of reciting a prayer in your head while you do so. And just hoping.
It's one of the most enjoyable feelings in your life when you actually feel it, because there's not a lot of padding on the backside, so you know that oh my gosh, I got a good chunk of that, and then it's a prayer play that you're doing there. But great reactionary save, save of the year.
It's got to be. Hey,
if the Panthers move on, that's going to be one of those moments you're going to see for a long time.
Maybe over to you, Vasilevsky, as the series will shift to Tampa now, and maybe he can provide some heroics going home. Maybe 2 Russian goaltenders, right? Duel it out here. But Bobrovsky with the big elbow stop. Panthers taking it in overtime, 3-2 over the Bolts. Over to Winnipeg, the whiteout. And you mentioned, we talked before the show started this morning, in moments, key moments that will define a game, a series, a season. And midway through that second yesterday, right? Like there was a time there where you can maybe say, ooh, things have shifted. Because now, going off game 1, you're like, wow, Winnipeg, wow, this is great. Colorado goaltending, ooh, questions. Now the Avalanche have earned a road split.
Yeah, it's crazy. The emotion, the roller coaster of emotions of the playoffs are fantastic. And you look to that game where the Winnipeg Jets have a huge chance to go up with the power play. It gets killed off. The 4-minute major just gives the Avalanche a boost, and they go and tie it up and then start steaming ahead. That's a great series, and it looked like Georgiev kind of reined in his performance from before, and you saw some, the dam seemed to have a few cracks in it with Hellebuyck, right? There was one goal right off the faceoff. That's hard for any goalie, but he made it's not even a mistake behind the net, but just the decision-making has to be so quick for a goalie. And Mike Smith was great at it for so long. Stuart Skinner's fantastic. I was actually talking to someone about just how he handles the puck, and it's actually quite refreshing. Like, there's quick thinking, because now with the forechecking forwards, that's what it's all about, right? So
if you're gonna play that game, you have to be you
have to be. You can't be playing checkers. You got to be playing chess and know what you're gonna do, because they're on you quick, and so that's gotta fill the Avs with a lot of confidence.
Well, and if my quick math again, and maybe Zach can assist me here again, 11 goals through 2 games on Connor Hellebuyck now.
That's ridiculous. No.
And regardless, I mean, some, as you mentioned, maybe some you can argue, tougher. But just that number screams out at you through 2 games, 11 goals on Connor Hellebuyck in Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And we're probably go out to the coast here about goaltending, and that's you get 2 or 3 on Hellebuyck, you're happy. Maybe we can get this to extra time. That's what you're kind of thinking, because he's so difficult. That team has been difficult to score on. There's got to be a subtle shift from the Jets here defensively, that they got to shore things up, or the Avs they're still a high-powered offensive team. Interest
rises in that series, and so does the elevation for the Jets as Game 3 going to Denver. Avalanche earning that split, and then we'll cap up here and probably hit a quick sports update after this with Zachtigam ahead of TSN's Mike Johnson, who'll be joining us at 6:30. But, oh boy, 4-1 for the Preds, 16 shots for Nashville, 18 for Vancouver, and a 4-1 loss. The Preds getting that road split as well, but the news obviously yesterday shaking Western Canada here, I guess, and being felt here in Edmonton, certainly by most fans, is Thatcher Demko and the status of him. And, series at risk, potentially that stretches further now. I mean, he had an injury heading into the postseason. Obviously, that hasn't, you're pulling alarm bells now, are you not? Nothing against Casey DeSmith, but Demko's your guy.
This, we talked about back in 2017, where Cam Talbot in an Oilers uniform was fantastic. And I think he was so good and covered up so many defensive deficiencies of the Edmonton Oilers that the GM at the time thought the window for winning was closer than it actually was. And got the players he thought would fit that mold better. This is where you really find out about a team when you have an all-star goaltender that covers up a lot of the deficiencies in the defensive zone. And look, nothing against.
Well,
nothing. Well, they can't win without him. That's the bottom line. He's that important to the Vancouver Canucks, where even from getting into the heads of shooters of other teams, not wanting to shoot the puck because I can't beat him. From
his
here.
name on the lineup is
it's frightening. So there's panic out there, and in the superstar battle, Forsberg is light years ahead of Pettersson.
I was going to say a little help from him would be nice. -3 and zeros.
He was
across the board.
He looks overwhelmed in the playoffs right now. This is something that he hasn't been part of, and this is where that learning curve of getting to the NHL playoffs is quite steep. And there's a lot to learn.
Superstars not answering the bell. A tremendous goaltender not being able to play in Nikita Zadorov getting your your offense. I mean, that's a bad recipe for a bad cake there. 30 blocked shots as well to the Canucks 8 for the Preds last night. So that's talking about bad recipes. When you look at the Predators, though, the goaltending they already have, when you get a team blocking 30 shots and playing this type of game, I mean, you got to love what they're doing right now. That's playoff success right there, eh?
The
road game too.
We were talking about the road to, with Maddie. Is the road easier for the Edmonton Oilers if they manage to get past the Kings here? I say no.
Maybe not.
After seeing what the Predators are doing right now, the layers, the discipline on the other side of the puck is huge. So careful what you wish for.
Well, and again, everybody will go back to Oilers Predators regular time.
Yeah,
regular season time, and but we can't be doing that.
Throw that out the window.
Yeah, you got to throw that out because this is some other stuff.
That's an old bean burrito right out the window.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Food poisoning. It sucks. Don't do it. Preds 4-1 over the Canucks. Even in that series, going back to Tennessee, so that should be. I know they'll be on guard there. Now. Oh man, I love that place. They Vegas, like there are a few of those U.S. markets that really do. I don't know if they don't get it yet, but they're really trying to, and they want to, and you got to appreciate that.
Well, Cass was telling me because we were talking about how with the Dallas Knights series, I found it very encouraging to see it. Well, I don't want to say Dallas is a non-hockey, not a traditional hockey market, I guess is the better way to put it. But they were booing Stone every time he touched the puck because they know what's going on. For an American city to know about the LTIR and the implications and get in, it's huge, especially down there. And Cass said, no, it's a knowledgeable hockey market, and obviously they are, but.
It's that layers of digging deep in the minds.
You don't get in the U.S. I don't know when you go to a game, it's playing in the U.S. is playing in the U.S. is so much fun sometimes because fans get mad at offsides. Like a guy will jump up and yell at the ref for calling offside. Right? They're very enthusiastic.
That's
which
a golden
great.
ice yet too. They're still in their prepubescent stage.
Exactly.
They're
in preschool.
What are you doing? That's not a penalty. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's okay though. I get your frustration there.
But it was good to see. I can't wait to watch game 2 of that one too.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Have your thoughts, have your say. 780-218-9999. Inbox is humming, as is the nasty chat. Hit those likes, hit that sub. We'll be back. We're going to have a sports update here from Zacticum. TSN's Mike Johnson will be joining us just after that to recap the Stanley Cup playoff picture and look ahead to tonight's Game 2, Oilers and Kings here from Ice District. But right now, a sports update from Zacticum for Green Plan.
Game 2 of the Kings-Oilers series goes tonight at 8 p.m. Join Tom Gazzola and crew for the GCL Diesel pregame show at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Catch this show on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Preds-Canucks series is tied at 1 after Nashville wins 4-1. In Florida, the Panthers doubled up their series after winning 3-2 in overtime against the Lightning. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Capitals 4-3 to take a 2-0 series lead. In Winnipeg, the Avs extended their series lead, even their series lead with the Jets following a 5-2 win. On tap tonight, The Maple Leafs and Bruins meet for Game 3 while the Stars and Golden Knights play Game 2. Yesterday in MLB action, the Blue Jays fell 3-2 against the Royals. Game 3 of that 4-game series goes down tonight with first pitch at 5:40. In basketball last night, the Timberwolves took Game 2 against the Suns. The Pacers tied the series against the Bucks, and the Mavericks outlasted the Clippers to tie their series. NBA playoffs continue tonight when the Celtics play the Heat and the Pelicans face the Thunder. This sports update is brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyshynski and Noodles. Gadget can gauge it. If it's but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramalla, Rapapo, Dragger, and Tanier. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about them give a present. Dusty, go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, yeah, nothing you can do about it. Indeed, 628, it's the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart TuneIn radio app, and, of course, on YouTube. Lieutenant Eric with you. Dustin Nielson back tomorrow from a week-long family vacation down in San Diego. Looks like they had a lot of fun. Really eager to hear about that tomorrow. And, of course, he'll be back recapping Game 2, Oilers-Kings later tonight. Joaquin Gage joining me as well this morning. And Zactigam behind the monitors, providing you with sports updates and really wrangling the show and keeping it together. Herding cats, I guess, if you will. And he's doing all that behind the screen. He's got our next guest coming up here, Mike Johnson of TSN. He'll be joining us a little early today, as, of course, it is Stanley Cup playoffs. Lots of moving parts and pieces throughout, so we appreciate his time. Mike Johnson and all of our Hockey Insiders analysts, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them just north of the Yellowhead on St. Albert Trail, 128th Ave, or visit them online, proamsports.ca. Like you, they are sports nerds and AM nasties too. And go check them out today. Great place. They love talking hockey, and get a little Oilers garb for you to dress up your playoff tree or however you choose to celebrate tonight, whether at the game, Moss Pit, or joining Tommy Gazzola at Hudson's for the pre- and post-game show. He'll be at Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall tonight, the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows with Tommy Gazzola. But it looks like Mike's ready to fly here. We'll bring him in, and we appreciate your time here, Mystic Mike of TSN. Let's get right into things, and we'll get to Oilers and Kings soon here. Game 2 tonight. Of course, the Oilers taking Game 1 on Monday. But last night, 4 games around the league, Game 2s. Things are still young and fresh here in the opening round, but certainly you do feel, and Gage and I were talking, that certain times in certain games there are moments that might dictate not only that game but a series. And I don't know if we were seeing that last night in Winnipeg with the Avalanche and the Jets, but anytime you can score as a road team and put 11 past to Connor Hellebuyck and come home with a series split, it's got to be in your favor. How do you kind of square away this series thus far between the Jets and the Avs? I think you're muted there, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Not him? No, it's him. You got the mute?
You might have to reload there.
Mike, we're being told you might have to reload, reboot, so we'll We'll press the eject, see if you can come back a little better here. But yeah, we'll get Mike Johnson in. Avalanche Jets 5-2. I don't know. I mean, it's that just screams out at me. Just the number of goals through those first two games on a Connor Hellebuyck, which I mean, we've been singing his praises, and probably a big main reason the Jets are where they are as well.
Well, the watching that game, there was one point where I found myself smiling at the screen, and for one, Josh Manson, and just thinking of his dad, Dave. Probably quite happy seeing his son score a huge goal, nonetheless. But we all know what happened with their family, and so just it's kind of Dave Manson's one of the best guys in hockey. So that was a nice part of last night that I saw that I'm sure Dave was quite happy if he's back in Prince Albert.
For sure. 780-218-9999 if you have anything you'd like for us to toss Mike's way as well. He's just getting together here is little. I don't even know what locale he was at, and I don't know if it was him or Noodles who had to change today. But obviously, these guys are, jetting around and trying to cover as much as they can. So we'll be a little patient with Mike this morning. We appreciate his patience as well. But Rangers topping the Caps as well, 4-3. Panthers, they take a 2-0 series lead over the Lightning, 3-2 in overtime. Verhaeghe with the winner there. And I don't know, the one that interests, again, Winnipeg, Colorado, it's a great series, but I think for Oilers fans out here, keeping an eye on that Preds, Canucks, and what could be. And you say, I mean, approach with a little caution. I know somebody had in the Paris Jewelers inbox, Draisaitl averaging 10 goals a game against the Preds, which is, and he follows it with a ha-ha, and I get it, but it ain't your regular season Predators. I don't think that you'd be potentially getting in round two.
I don't think so. There'd be extra attention towards Leon for sure. It's just because he's feasted. But again, I think I read a stat yesterday that Leon has, I think, 13 goals against the LA Kings in 14 games. So he's feasted upon.
He's a real good player.
He's
I mean,
really
there's lots of
and you saw the subtle shift in Leon's game. Like sometimes his frame doesn't look like he's fully engaged. There was a lot of extra effort in Leon, which of course you're going to get in playoffs.
Getting that frame engaged takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, that body's working overtime to get that big hoss moving.
I don't know if you saw this, but they had a great replay of that goal he scored when he went just roof daddy, and it was
from the
opposite side.
I know exactly the one you're talking about. Oh boy! Well, because that's the one replay that really tells it all, and I'm like, okay, this is going to really explain it to me. I still don't understand how it got through. Like I don't the space.
There's so many guys that you could put over there just with pucks. Mm-hmm. Not passing, not taking one-timers, and just try to hit that
with
spot.
No goalie.
Yeah, you could with no goal. Just try to hit the net from that spot is difficult. We used to have like games after practice where we'd stand in different spots and off the post, the Jordan Bird off
Steph Curry
and
doing
kind
his,
of thing, and we'd gamble and things, and that would be one of the things. I would never put up my shekels against Leon.
He'd be taking all your money. I mean, there's no case there. But no, that replay, if you haven't seen it, check it out from the Draisaitl goal on Monday. Just a superb camera angle. I do believe the Edmonton Oilers official account tweeting that one out. Troy chimes in. Mike's probably just getting Whale and the Wolf. I would assume that's maybe the case through his headphones, as has been the issue here over the last little while. Nothing from Mike. He's not checked in, Zach.
He said he was reloading.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll give him some time. And again, we appreciate his patience. We'll skate around for a bit. 780-218-9999. Gary Bettman to all the American teams that are now getting mad about the Stone LTIR thing. And I didn't have. That's my bad. I didn't have the clip. Here he is. Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, I get it. I'll be better on that one. I kind of stumbled off that, but you kind of get where Tommy's always late. LT, would you like a cup of tea? Yeah, that comes in from the song there. I love it. That's very good. RBM, probably not going to win you text of the day, but you're pulling a lot of strings in my heart there. Adam from Moncton, New Brunswick this morning, 780-218-9999. Two things, he says. Anyway, Carrick makes more answer for the hit right away to set a tone, air quotes, for Game 2. And the second point, with the Mitchell and Ness 06 jerseys, is there any way we get the Oil Derek to skate out of it? It's the only thing that's missing from the Oilers playoffs because I've been rocking my Hemsky 06 jersey for the game here in New Brunswick. Your thoughts on potential heavyweight tilt to get things going tonight, and the Oil Derek, if you will.
Oh, it's take a number. you can't go out of your way. We saw what that did in other series, trying to take advantage of a player. Just take a number, take a shot later. There's more.
You should be in the room. I'm really digging how you're kind of.
Well, that's what Mac T always said. I was great in the room.
Yeah, let them do it. Hey, let them get mad and let them. Mike looks like he's good. Hey, wait in the bullpen. Mike, I'm going to just take this one. I apologize. It was probably me, as I'm fine. My shoulders are quite broad. But once again, we appreciate your time during this busy season. Let's do a mic check here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3.
You got me, Joaquin. You're so good in the room. You should always stay in the room, right? Like, is that it? Like,
yeah, no, that was the end of that sentence too. But
yeah, that's right.
No, he was he enjoyed I got everyone going. The pom poms. I should add pom poms instead of a blocker and catcher, to tell you the truth.
Listen, everyone's got a role to fill. The worst part about being a goalie in the playoffs, especially, is like, you got to stay out there a long time because a lot of bodies all of a sudden stay around the team, right? Like, it's not just the 23 guys. Like, they expand the roster, extra guys get called up, minor guys, college guys, junior guys, whatever. And the extra goalie just goes out there and gets pelted at the end of practice. Starter, knees and down, no one gets anything up top, but the backup or the third goalie, look out. It is target practice for his shoulders. It's a tough couple months.
Well, you said it, MJ. I just didn't understand why, nothing against maybe the bottom 6 players, but all of a sudden the thing that they wanted to work on most was their one-timer from the bottom of the hash marks. That was a necessity all of a sudden where, they would rarely even get to that point, let alone be able to execute that type of play. But you know what? I helped a lot of guys gain some confidence. That's for sure.
Cager, hang on. I was playing in Toronto, and Glenn Healy was our backup. And I think we had Curtis Joseph and Felix Potvin ahead of him. And we were doing the shooting at the end of practice. And he used to wear that helmet, not a mask, but like a helmet, like a Hashik style helmet. And Chris King, God love King, or works in the NHL, one of the best guys, my roommate, love him. Not a guy who scores a lot. Same thing. He walks to the hash marks, pink, right in the forehead, and Heels is leaking because those helmets were not designed to disperse energy to not cut him so Heels fires his stick in the stands, and he says exactly that in much more colorful language. Now you want to pick corners. Now you think you're an offensive player. You're going to put the fucking puck on the ice. What are you doing? I like verbatim what you said. It must be in the goalie union handbook. Like, what are you doing? You never shoot, you never score, and you only do is hit you right in the forehead.
Yeah, I played with a guy, Dean Malcock, once. He instead of that, he actually just dumped the puck in the corner and then started cycling it to himself after practice. And it was actually really
work
funny.
On your game.
yeah, working on the game.
Mike, just sticking on the goaltending here, though. Let's head around the horn. And the original question I had earlier. Avalanche Jets series, man. 11 goals past Hellebuyck. Seems like Georgiev finding his game after game 1. People thinking the Colorado Avalanche need to go out and get somebody else or find somebody else. Just your thoughts through 2 heavy games here out of Winnipeg between the Avs and the Jets.
So I think the bad part for Winnipeg is like this sort of stuff for Georgiev has been the norm the last month. Like, he's had some tough games. And he's had some decent games. Yeah. And the team doesn't really get that phased by it because this is what they've seen. Like, they're not, oh, God, our goalie let in 5 or 6 or 7, because he lets in occasionally 5 or 6 or 7. And they don't bank on him being great to win. And I think the other side of that coin is that Connor Hellebuyck, who historically, like, undeniably, he's almost coming up on a Hall of Fame goaltender. He wins another Vezina here. Like, he's a borderline Hall of Famer already. His playoff numbers have not been as strong as his regular season numbers in his career. I don't know if it's fatigue or the moment, but Winnipeg's a defensive team. They are a structured defensive team. That's how they win. And the biggest story for me is, Hellebuyck struggling and Georgiev, I guess, bouncing back, but that's not that surprising. It's the volume of good opportunities that Colorado has been able to create against Winnipeg. Like, they've been able to get through that system and that structure to get their chances. That, to me, is the biggest story. You knew this was going to be a tough series for Winnipeg or Colorado. Colorado, I think, the best home record in the Western Conference, and now they're going back with home ice advantage. It's going to go long. It's going to go 6 or 7 games, and Hellebuyck's certainly going to have to be much better than Georgiev for Winnipeg to win.
Let's just continue with the goaltending theme as well, and certainly for Oilers fans yesterday, seeing the news of Thatcher Demko being out for potentially the remainder of the series, perhaps further. I mean,
now are Oilers fans happy with that news, or are they like, oh,
well, that's what
Gage
Gage was saying too, because I just. Like, this is a team that the Canucks we've been watching, and we've been thinking, oh, when are they going to? And Thatcher Demko's played great, and the style in which they play. But the fact that the Predators right now are kind of choking them without him and blocking all these shots, like I don't know. Again, it's a pick your poison. I know it's the playoffs. Everybody's tough. Everything's a tough out. But it's a weird one developing out there in Vancouver and Nashville. I mean, last night about 30 blocked shots. Shot volume really low on both ends. But I mean, is this kind of a somewhat you're getting that fork ready to stick into the Canucks? Is that a type of a feeling you get from this, or can they rise above this? Elias Pettersson certainly quiet as well doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, 2 open nets. One he elects to pass, one he shoots wide. Like that would have been in a series that's tight. Like that could have been a difference maker, and he's wearing it. I think he was -4 last night with those 2 misses. He's clearly struggling. You wonder about his health. Like anyone who's unusually off, you're like, I wonder if they're healthy. But you will never know until after the season. But I think the perception that this was going to be a comfortable series was a misguided one for Vancouver. Because if you look at, I know that long winning streak obviously skews numbers, but if you look at all the underlying numbers, basically from the All-Star game on, Nashville was a top 5 team in the league. The goals for as well, a top 5 team, which you would be like, what? Who's scoring goals for them? You got Forsberg, you got Yossi, and then you got Gus Nyquist? Like who else scores for them?
Swedish meatballs,
him and Ryan O'Reilly. Like as a group, they get it done offensively. And if Saros, who sort of rediscovered his form down the stretch as well, plays well, then they're a challenge. Like Andrew Burnett, I think he's a pretty good coach. He's got them playing well, and I don't feel bad for anyone, but it's so disappointing when a year goes as well as it has for Vancouver, and that market is passionately embracing what's going on there. And to have it sort of come undone or not have the best chance to be successful because of injuries. It's one thing if they lose to Nashville with Demko playing and it just happens, or they get to the next round and they lose to the Oilers. Like, absolutely. Like, that's more likely to happen than not. But to do it with a backup goalie, I mean, the fans are chanting his name to try to get him going, and he gives up a goal to start the game. Like, it's tough timing out there, and Casey DeSmith's got a lot of pressure. So, they can certainly still get it done. They've scored a whole bunch of goals this year, but it's gotten a lot harder, not only this round, because as Talkin says, forget about day to day. He's week to week. Like, I'm looking forward, if they get through Nashville and they get the Oilers 10 days from now, I don't think they get through Edmonton without excellent goaltending. And I don't think they get through Edmonton without Thatcher Demko. So this is problem 1 is right in front of them, but problem 2 is lying on the horizon if they happen to solve the Nashville Predators.
So, Mike, it's alarming to think that, you have I think the days of the number 1 guys playing north of 65, 70. Demko has shown that, there's wear and tear throughout the regular season that seems to affect his game when they matter most. But now we look at a team like Boston. You got the possibilities of switching goalies. Boston, by all accounts, are going back to Swayman tonight. Do you think that you might see more of this, hopefully platoon style? I know here in Edmonton, what happened this year, the backup goaltending has become less talked about more this year than I can remember for the past 5, essentially. And not that it was a platoon system, but there was consistent. Essentially the other guy was doing his job, and now you're seeing all these goalies in the playoffs, sort of faltering when it matters most. Can you see that happening? And how? And again, maybe the second part is how are the Leafs going to get one past Swayman that's had so much success against them?
So I don't see a platoon happening because there's not enough teams with 1 goalie, let alone 2, right?
Yeah.
So there's no Andy Moe, Grant Fuhr kicking around like, oh yeah, like we should play them around equally. What I think is going to happen, Gager, and I think this is like the sports science tells you like a 54-27 split, 2-to-1 split for your starter to your backup. Now you want your backup to be good enough to be around 500 in those 27-28 games. I think that is absolutely where the NHL is headed. And even, Shesterkin, a proven guy who can play a lot, they don't want him playing 60 games. Like the only guys who play 60 games are like Hellebuyck, Saros, Vasilevsky. Like I don't think there's really anyone else that teams should feel comfortable playing 60 plus games and then taking them into the playoffs. So I think we are definitely going down that road. Boston's so unique, right? It's been 27 games in a row.
Yeah.
They have alternated back and forth. So you put your 55 shot shutout, you're not playing next game. Too bad for you. And I think the goalies seem to be okay with it. Of course, they're competitive. They probably want to play, but they seem to be okay with it. They support each other. The team doesn't bother them because both goalies play well and give them a chance to win. Swayman has great numbers against Toronto. Ullmark has played better than Swayman down the stretch. So if you're going on merit, Ullmark probably would have started game one, but it wasn't his turn. They gave it to Swayman. He played well. It's not like Ullmark didn't play awesome in game two as well. He was the reason why the game was even close. So I think they keep going back and forth. Even if Swayman wins 2-0 tonight, I don't think Swayman plays game four. I really, really don't. I think they just keep alternating until they don't play anymore. And how do the Leafs get to Swayman? I think what we saw in game two, more traffic and more bodies around the front of the net. It seems so simple, not real sexy. But what Toronto did better was they initiated their forecheck further up the ice. So the D were more aggressive at the offensive blue line, at the red line, not letting Boston get to the offensive zone to forecheck. That way, Toronto doesn't have to play in their own end as much because they're not great at that. They can stop them before they get there, turn it back, and then just put pucks in and around the net from the fourth line to the first. And with that sort of simplistic philosophy on the cycle game, they found themselves with good opportunities. They'll probably try to do that again.
TSN's Mike Johnson with us this morning on the Nielson Show, Edmonton Sports Talk, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Lieutenant Eric Joaquin Gage with you. Mike, getting to the main course here, and just a two-pronged here. Your thoughts, game one, obviously Monday night, Oilers-Kings. I mean, for an Edmonton fan, I mean, that goes how you want it. Your goal scorer gets the hat trick. Your assist king gets 5. The special teams, I mean, robust, steady goaltending. A real... I think the word was chimed in from a fan Tuesday morning, economical from the Oilers. And you can argue maybe the score flattering the Kings a bit with a few of those goals. But I just want to get your thoughts on that night. And heading into game two tonight, to which the Oilers now taking that game one, they failed to kind of jump over that hurdle in years past. They've got that game one. You're heading into game two. I know we were discussing kind of off air. You're looking right at that first kind of 10 minutes. Kings are going to come out, but if Oilers can weather that storm and maybe get a greasy one in or something. My thoughts on this series going from maybe a tough, and I had maybe 6, it really lessens things down. So just if you could share your thoughts on that game one win for the Oilers, which was, I mean, stars across the board. But what are you looking at in game two in terms of, is that first 10 minutes, is the jump the Kings will provide? How do the Oilers kind of see their way through tonight to set up really good going back to LA?
So if that game was economical, I don't want that fan doing my budget, because that wasn't economical at all. That was like explosive, dynamic stuff going on there. 5 points for Connor and a hat trick for Zach and everything else. So I think the worst sort of fears for LA were realized in game one, that we're going to have a hard time corralling McDavid, even with Deneau, even with Kopitar, even with Doughty and Mikey Anderson, like whoever it might be. We're going to have a hard time grabbing hold of that line. We're going to have a hard time handling their power play. Like the power play, I don't know what happens in the power play. We know it's great, but like it somehow gets better in the playoffs when I think preparation and system play favors defense and penalty killers, because you have more time to prepare for it. And then the other biggest one is Cam Talbot up to the task. Like Cam Talbot's had a good year. He's had a great career. And but he's probably not an upper echelon goaltender. Now, LA is a very goalie-friendly team, protects their goalies really well. But, is he going to be up to the challenge that Edmonton poses at him? And he wasn't in game one. It wasn't his fault. I mean, the goals were sick goals, backdoor goals. Nothing you can do on some of those. But, 7 is 7. Like, that's too many. So all those things are troubling. Now, what I would expect LA to get so much better in the neutral zone, like not give Edmonton so much speed. That 1-3-1 that Edmonton got through, that's got to be executed tighter. I would expect LA to be better in the penalty kill, because they have a really good penalty kill. And so I think that should not be assumed you're going to go 3 for 5 or whatever it might be, right? The game will be closer. But the reality is, I mean, Edmonton has the 2 best forwards by a country mile in this series. including the best in the world when he rolls. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if Edmonton gets out early and is able to kind of stretch this one out and Stuart Skinner plays well, then they're in great shape. 2-0, and your 6-game prediction probably becomes more likely 5.
Yep.
Really.
Yep.
Because, Edmonton is probably the better team, and their best players are playing great. Now, having said that, whether it's 10-0 or 2-1 in quadruple overtime, if you get game 2, like Toronto lost, 5-1? The sky was falling. Time to blow up everything. And now they won 3-2, and it's game on. It's the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
If LA somehow gets a win, it's game on. Series is going to be extended and tough. So really a pivotal game, even though the Oilers look great in game 1 and 1, pivotal game tonight to try to take control of the series.
No, and you said it. I mean, it's almost like you're looking at the Jets and the Avalanche too from the other night. Now the Avalanche going home with that split, and you're kind of like, okay, well, that was fast. But we'll keep an eye on that. Mike, we'll let you go. Again, really appreciate your time. I know it's a busy time of the season for you guys. Walk us through, if you really can quickly, what are you doing after this? Walk us through your entire day, if you can, the itinerary ahead of you.
There's a car outside waiting for me as we speak, and I am going to the airport. And then I am flying to New York. I have to do an afternoon hit on TSN, and then I'm going to NHL Network Studio for a late night wrap show for all the games tonight, including yours. So I'll be up till about 2:30 in the morning in the studio in New York.
Well, Mike, if you ever want to, we appreciate you coming on, but if you ever need to work on your one-timer from the hash marks, let me know. I'll jump on a plane and we can test out the Sherwood 90-30 and see if it's still got some pop in it.
I'll miss your head, but I'll also miss the net, so nobody will win.
Whatever.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. Safe travels.
All right, boys.
TSN's Mike Johnson. There you go. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. You can find them north of the Yellowhead Trail. North of the Yellowhead, St. Albert Trail, 128th Avenue, or check them out online, proamsports.ca. And we appreciate Mike's time this morning on the car running, airport. Like, it's going. And he said it's all till like 2 a.m. or something like that, is it?
He's solid, man. I like.
Crazy schedule.
Yeah, crazy. He's good. I love his takes on stuff. I like when, because obviously I'm a international man of mystery.
Absolutely.
I've been overseas and done that stuff. I like when he goes
been abroad.
When he does the World Championships and stuff and over there, I definitely tune in for that.
He's a man of many talents. Mystic Mike as well. He dabbles into he'll throw a lean or a sprinkle on things every so often. But he does make a good point of, and I slept on this, but it is much of the same with the Jets and Avs as tonight. If the Kings squeeze one out by any way, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but hypothetically, that game 1 gets turned around quite quick, and all of a sudden they're earning that road split.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that they're going to go home and take 2 or something like that, but it really does change that psyche of the series that you built up in game 1.
This is why I always thought the team that finishes ahead should have the choice of whether to start on the road or start at home.
But you get the line changes or something.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah. You still get the advantages, possibly.
Right.
But you start on the road and you get the split.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all.
All the time when playing in playoffs, all through junior and pro and stuff, when you're the underdog in playoffs going in, you take one. There's definitely puckering on the other side.
And if if you're say it's an 8v1, and I don't mean to conjure up old playoff style memories and that type of format. I know a lot of people want that to return, but if you're an 8v1 and you're going into the one barn and you know that they're that much better. But yeah, if you're right, if you're a higher seed and you finish, better standings wise, you get to choose to go on the road. Well, you don't have that fear of going up against a talented dog. You have the talent. You're just going in there to spoil the party. And I've always thought that I think this Oilers team really loves. I think they enjoy going down to L.A. and wiping the smirk off Will Ferrell's. I think they take a bit of a. And not to say that any other team doesn't. I think winning on the road is always sweet. But I really think this Oilers team kind of gets up and likes to be the bad boys, the nasty bunch to kind of stick it to the narrative, if you will.
Well, just a bit. I mean, if you can go read the Vancouver Province today, the sky is probably like
right?
everything's the San Andreas Fault is. We're all going straight into the ocean here.
So now, if you're the better team, you're in that split. Now you're coming home. You're loving life.
The pressure all of a sudden
will be ramped up.
This is why I don't like a team that goes into the playoffs without any adversity. The stuff that they're hearing right now from outside sources, and you have to do a good job of blocking it out. But this is stuff they haven't heard all season long. And so, especially Pettersson, now it's like, where are you? Where have you gone? Yeah, you really find the mettle of a player in these times.
Oil need to keep the pedal to the metal. Score first, stay ahead. That comes in from Jimmy Penner on the Nasty Chat. I mean, that goes without saying, but will they, can they? And it'll be fascinating to watch this opening sequence tonight and see how and again, if the Oilers, you stick with, you get play hard, get a grease. I mean, it would just go towards breaking that spine of the Kings right early on. It just but who's to say? That's going to be fascinating. Game 2 tonight, of course, you can join Tom Gazzola. He'll be at Hudson's Bourbon Street. That's West Edmonton Mall for your GCL Diesel pregame and postgame shows tonight, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coverage getting underway around 6:30 tonight. But you can join him a little earlier down there. It is Wing Wednesday down at Hudson's. Great special on wings, boneless or otherwise. So head down there, 6 o'clock or lager as well via the can. Go see Tommy. He'll have a few GCs for you as well. Head down there, going to the game or the Moss Pit, make Hudson's your place to pre-game for tonight's Game 2, Oilers and Kings. Once again, we thank Mike Johnson for his time. Coming up, hour number 2, we're trucking along. Tales of the North to get you set. That'll lead off hour number 2, of course, switching spots there with Mike Johnson. Tales of the North will be brought to you by Christopher Boyle. So we'll be doing that around 7:05. Your Club Canada hotline of the day, just taking a look at tonight's game, where you can go and place a sprinkle. Free advice, DamonBunting.com. Eric Macramalla, our TSN or our EST legal analyst, brought to you by Park Mazda, and that's good from the Italian Center shop. I do believe we have a few routes we can go with that leading up to 8 o'clock this morning. 780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox. The number to text. Come hard after that $20 A&W text of the day, or get in the Nasty Chat. I know everybody's on to the like parade here. Hit the like button, hit the sub if you haven't already. We're sitting at 161. I ain't gonna beg. I did tease that I might threaten a bit, but even that's gone. I'm just saying, like the show. If you like what we're doing, like it. It advances in the algorithm. I'm not gonna be a dog on the bone. I'm not gonna, but I'll let Zach maybe get in the chat. He can kind of spruce things up and get people's interest peaked and perked. I don't know, Joaquin Gage, if you want to sell anything of yourself, your time, or anything for likes here. I don't know how needy you are or anything such as that. Any threats you'd like to communicate? Or
no, I just
I'm with I don't.
There's nothing major that pops out. Obviously, this is my side gig, I guess. My main focus is helping people get to their retirement comfortably. And hey, just like the Edmonton Oilers, everyone needs a plan, right? They're going into the night with a plan. You should have a plan yourself. Reach out to, you can catch me at www.k4financial.ca. That's the letter K, number 4, financial.ca, and we can develop that second period plan for yourself.
I love the hockey. I mean, it's
whatever.
Come into the room. You got the whiteboard and you're drawing up the things.
If you need someone good in your financial room, give me a call.
Guy in the room. Hit the likes for Gage. Come on. I mean, if anything today. Nasty Chat pumping. Inbox is going. 6:59. We'll hit a sports update here from Zacticum. And after that, little Tales of the North, we'll get to makeup. Right, sports update, Zacticum. Here we go. Hour number 2 on the way.
Should I wear the wig?
Game 2 of the Oilers-Kings series goes tonight at 8 p.m. Join Tom Gazzola and crew for the GCL Diesel pregame show at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Catch the show on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com starting at 6:30. The Preds-Canucks series is tied at 1 after Nashville wins 4-1. In Florida, the Panthers doubled up their series lead after winning 3-2 in overtime against the Lightning. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Capitals 4-3 to take a 2-0 series lead. In Winnipeg, the Avs ended their series with even their series with the Jets following a 5-2 win. On tap tonight, the Maple Leafs and Bruins meet for Game 3 while the Stars and Golden Knights play Game 2. Yesterday in MLB action, the Jays fell 3-2 against the Royals. Game 3 of that 4-game series goes down tonight with first pitch at 5:40. In basketball last night, the Timberwolves took Game 2 against the Suns, the Pacers tied the series against the Bucks, and the Mavericks outlasted the Clippers to tie the series. NBA playoffs continue tonight when the Celtics play the Heat and the Pelicans face the Thunder. Caitlin Clark has won her second straight James E. Sullivan Award for the most outstanding athlete at the college or Olympic level. Clark is the first player to win the award twice in its 94-year history. This sports update is brought to you by the Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino on Fort Road. Your home for all Oilers playoff action. Don't miss a minute of the Cup run. Catch all the action at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
Extraordinary collection of players.
Open his head home to the net. Score!
Damn it.
Nugent Hopkins got it back. Rebound, score! Evan Bouchard, the equalizer! Fires it up to Nurse to win the game. He does! Darnell Nurse, the winner!
Here comes Potvin. Potvin, quick rush. Scores! Great goal!
Moves in, looks for Smith in the slot. Ryan Smith with it, scores! Vintage Ryan Smith.
Trying to pick it up in the corner. Comes close to Curry. Curry gets it ahead to Gretzky. Gretzky going in. Sutter trying to get back. Gretzky with his shot.
McDavid set up by Draisaitl. Another breakaway. He wins it. Connor McDavid. Game over.
5 seconds remaining. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
7:03, and we thank Jaunty and Victoria, a.k.a. Dustin Nielson, for that banger. Jaunty's been in the lab working on a few Oilers playoff themes and anthems, vignettes, as I like to call them, and that was one of them. It says here, country banger. And boy, howdy, was it ever. 780-218-9999. Number to text, Paris Jewelers inbox. Nasty Chat is humming. Look, we said likes. If we're going to get likes, you've got to get likes for this. I mean, you don't get a Joaquin Gage in the Tales of the North wig and garb and cape all day, every day. So hit the likes for this, if anything. If anything we're going to like for today, it's this. So get in the Nasty Chat right now. Hit the like, hit the sub if you haven't already, and we'll get going here. Tales of the North. It is brought to you by our good pal, Christopher Boyle, Lord of Life Assurance, Sentinel of Life's Legacy. You can check him out online. Experienced advisor, 17 years of experience working with both families and businesses. ChristopherBoyle.net is where you can go, and he is a big fan of Tales of the North. Probably if you go and you set up an appointment with him or any type of meeting, you could probably do it as a Tales of the North scene if you like. He's hard into it. It's still real to him, damn it, and we thank Christopher Boyle for his love of the segment and the bit. This is great. Dustin Nielson would be so proud right now. The fact that it's hanging off the side, you got that curl coming off the side. It's a great look.
I used to have this look.
Is that what it was? Yeah. How shoulder?
No, it was a little tighter, tighter curls, but more 76 Lakers. Really.
You have the music correct there. You're ready to go. I know. I didn't mean to. We'll get this.
6, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that. There you go. Okay, that's good. We got that. We got this. Let's see how we do. It's Oilers and Kings tonight, Game 2. We are 1-0 in the Gager LTE Tales of the North realm here, so we'll try to keep this cooking and look for 2 straight tonight. But without any further ado...
Who owns the North? Who owns the North? Show me!
Trevor Moore, knee breaker. Time for you to join the Night's Watch.
Tonight in the North, the Garlic King Knobloch leads his band of elder statesmen into battle yet again, as the dusk of Game 2 looms, with a band of silver and black kings, nay raiders, nay jesters, lie in wait. Zachary Martin Bartholomew Hyman, he of hat-trick fame, supplying the breadth of the Oil arsenal, while Connor McDavid, a name that continues to conjure up fear amongst peasants throughout the league, continues his collection of prize playoff apples. Trevor Moore, the lower body impaler, escaping the Tower of Punishment yesterday, while Anze Kopitar, ye old sunken eyes, looked on with fear. Pierre-Luc Dubois, Pierre-Luc Dubious, disgraced by his former house, will he continue the act of a faceless man? Will Cameron Talbot be able to withstand the barrage of spears and mortar chucked down from above, where the ravenous throngs of Oiler fandom froth at the prospect of yet another early wave? These are the tales of the North, and may they be heard far and wide across this great land.
Skinner, shut the door! Shut the door! Shut the door!
I didn't see that one coming. You were in with the dagger, were you not? Zactium, you were getting in there?
I was playing with those blades.
Shiving it up? Slicing
to.
an Achilles here or there?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Hold the door. Shut the door. How have we not done that yet? Tales of the North, there you are. Brought to you by Christopher Boyle. We did it. You can check out christopherboyle.ca. ChristopherBoyle.net is the website. He's an advisor, experienced advisor, 17 years of financial experience working with both families and business. The Lord of Life Assurance, Sentinel of Life's Legacy. You can check him out here. Warden of Fortunes, shielding against life's trials. Christopher Boyle, Tales of the North, brought to you by him, ChristopherBoyle.net. I'm feeling good, I got to say. It kind of gets the, it's one of those exercises that gets that... anxious nervousness out of you, you know what I'm saying?
Good.
If you want to cosplay on your own or go a little LARPing down in the River Valley prior to the game tonight, I'd suggest to do it. It kind of gets you feeling good and gets you ramped up. But while we are in garb here and while we do have a little bit of time just ahead of the Coolbet Canada hotline of the day tonight, I mean, in terms of fandom, because this is kind of the time to not discuss the X's and O's so much, but just from a fan's point of view and the temperature of the city. Again, prior to game one and heading out, it was kind of like, I think I saw a tumbleweed, fly over 170th. And I was kind of like, this is weird. Quiet before the storm.
An old Western.
Yeah. But in a, not in a bad way of like disinterest or anything, but I'm kind of like, okay, it's here. And you can kind of, and then you hear in the distance like, this is Western Conference final, because you can tell what's coming down the track, but it's game one opening round. So as you mentioned, we're all just kind of pretty base.
Pretty base. I feel that way. I mean, things can change on a dime here, but you look no further than some of these other series going to the 1-1, and the whole narrative of the series changes. I've said it before, Oilers fans, act like you've been there before. Mm-hmm. We're going to see a much better Kings team, a much more disciplined team. The Oilers are going to have to bring the same type of effort that they did in game one. And hopefully, put that, we said I'd like to start on the road for this reason, because essentially winning 2 at home, I think in the eyes of the team going back, look, they did what they'd had to do. We have to go hold serve in our rink now. Yep. But by taking it and stealing that advantage, that puts the pressure back on the home team to get the split all of a sudden. So it's I like the feel. I like the if Clint Eastwood was in there, we would hear the soundtrack of The Good, the Bad, the Ugly right now.
Who's Angel Eyes? Maybe it's Luke Gastic, maybe when we get him on Thursday. But you're right. I mean, they get the game one win, which was like so important because they've been dropping that game one, and it's like, so you've conquered that hill, you've risen above that, but now you just get over that hill, and now you're seeing this game two hill. Where you're like, oh yeah, we got like that. That's as you say, you win game one, that's fine. You could drop game one, win game two. It's the same type of thing. So you win that, you can't be at all too fat and happy. I'm not saying they are, and I don't think they are. Again, given the given the comments and the vibe out of that room, this is a team that seems more dialed in and more locked in than seasons past, which is highly encouraging. But most of this is just from a fan's point of view, and again, this is a market that it's a Six Flags roller coaster, baby, right? Like you're up and down every single day, even by the hours. So just taking a check on you out there. How are you doing today? What are your plans? Were you moss pitting it? Were you somewhere else? Is this one of these series where you're kind of like, I'm going to huddle up by myself in my basement so that I don't, like, you know,
Yeah.
some people like to, you know, the emotions, and it's a little too much, and you just kind of want to, you know, keep by your safety blanket and for the rest of the night.
A bear doesn't jump out of his cave when he wakes up after a long winter's slumber. You know, he eases out and just kind of moseys.
Yeah, well, you're still a little, you're yeah, it's kind of walking out of the moss pit, maybe, that type of image there of a bear. Is Gage's new nickname Shooter, that comes in from Jeffy. Very good eye and ear on that Tales of the North. 5-star on that. That was
Thank you.
Great tie.
That was tough. That was tough for me to think about, actually. So, but I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah, it's getting some rave reviews. Merds chimes in. Love it, fellas. Had lots of passion over. Sounded like Aaron had somebody's balls in his mouth. Definitely muffled. I do wear this helmet, which is part of the. It's my battle wear. I must wear it in battle, and that's part of the. You don't need to understand every single word. You can fill in the blanks yourself. It's part of the fun, right? Dusty's mom texting in 780-218-9999. Wow, caps lock. Well done, boys. Well done. Also caps lock. So. Getting some high praise from some very important people. Gager looks like Prince. Comes in from Corey B. He'll be the tattooee come Friday here in studios. He'll be getting the EST somewhere on his body.
I never meant to cause you any problems, and I never meant to cause you any pain.
And I think the Nasty Chat's using that refrain as well with a few Prince takes in there. But good job on the wig and everything. Man. I just fully going in.
I didn't know where the line is. Where this is Dusty. Like
no line.
No line. Yeah.
No line.
I don't want to step on any toes here.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ? Stair Farmer. Good morning, boys. Go Oilers. Go Vancouver is done. Much like a bear again exiting the cave.
Yeah.
But this is great. 2 games, 1 game, 2 games in the opening round, and we're already RIPing certain teams. But that's your Demko news, and I know Mike Johnson was like, we're all going to echo it, but that's a season changer right now.
He said it's good enough possibly to get by a round with DeSmith, but he worries about the Canucks' chances of going up against Connor McDavid and company without Thatcher Demko, and I echo his statement for sure. That's a tall task.
You're not here to win a series. You're here to win a cup, and yeah, you get that series. Maybe you do find your way past Nashville. It's not going to get any easier.
No,
in fact, markedly tougher. So that's going to be a battle for them. But again, we'll wait and see. I mean, that was kind of the news yesterday, but nothing too, I guess, in concrete right now. Potentially could miss the series, potentially more, potentially less. I don't know. It is the playoffs, so we'll keep an eye and an ear on that story as it kind of continues to develop here. 780-218-9999 is the number to text, also in the Nasty Chat as well. Easiest way to catch a bear, dig a hole, fill said hole with ashes, then place peas around the outside of the hole. When a bear comes along to take a pee, kick him in the ash hole. That comes in from Strummy Nasty Chat. If you want to text that in, Strummy, it could be your path to $20 to A&W in text of the day. Gage Moore looks like a dollar store prince. And I wouldn't say dollar store. I'd say like a Zellers.
I don't know.
The Bay.
Prince
they sell that
probably,
F1 gear, he's kind of...
I don't think Prince was above going to a dollar store.
No, not above. But you're not short of department store, I would...
No.
This is, nice stuff, too, I'm not saying, but...
I'm the Bay all the way.
Yeah. Where is it here? I'm eager to see if the Stars can bounce back and win against the Knights. Going to Vegas down 2-0 is going to be tough to overcome. Northside sandwich, and that is also something that's kind of maybe, not falling through the cracks this morning, but recapping everything that's going on last night and certainly setting things up for tonight here, Oilers and Kings. But that other series between Dallas and Vegas, outside of the Canucks Preds, which I know one of those will be the next opponent here, but the Dallas-Vegas series, and we're not going to close our eyes and look past the Pacific, but that is something we are, again, keeping an eye on firmly here in this market. Thoughts on this? Again, it's another game, too, where you could see the home team split this one. The narrative changes heading back to Vegas, but the way the Golden Knights are getting healthy, air quotes, and turning things on, power plays clicking as well. Dallas can't go to Vegas down 2-0, can they? Even this vaunted, perfectly fitted Stars team.
If there's any team that could go down in the first 2 games, I think it would be Dallas. Mm-hmm. Just there were some good things about that game. The thing that was puzzling, maybe not so much, but Ottinger's play First of all, not we've seen what's happened to him in previous playoffs where there's a little bit of that fade, and trying to recapture that type of play that he had against the Flames a few years back. I look to both goalies being a lot better than what they actually were in Game 1, so that's going to be a lot more enjoyable to watch. But yeah, you definitely don't. You never want to go down 2-0, especially going into a building like Vegas that building gives their team a lot of juice because of the theatrics,
the whole atmosphere
of it all, right?
It matters.
The
stuff matters.
It's a different vibe. So, but saying that again, the Dallas Stars are a very, very good, experienced hockey team. Can't wait for Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about we mentioned earlier in American markets, and these are two that have those fan bases that kind of have a bit of a higher education than maybe others, have been at it a little longer, and again, the atmosphere. Dallas, I know somebody mentioned either texting or in the nasty chat. And I think it has something to do with the camera angle as well. But they're always standing, like they just anything that happens, like the ref blows a whistle, and they're like, what? They're standing, looking around, and it's just I love it. I don't know. It's adorable in a way.
No, Nashville too. It seems like there's a point in the third period, everyone just stands. You stand now, right?
You can have your way. We'll just stand. And look very troubling down on the ice at you. Vancouver should send Demko to Vegas to heal faster.
Oh.
Dave Priest, nasty chat. Love it. Text it in, and you might be off to A&W. Somebody also says you're a Randy Watson lookalike in Coming to America.
Oh.
Which is, I can see that as well. If you had been more... It was kind of evened out on both sides, but
there's not enough product in this wig. It's, I believe it's Soul Glow is what they're looking for.
More product, makeup. Coolbet Canada hotline of the day coming up right now as well, as we'll take a look at that. Once again, coolbet.com is where you can do all of your wagers, money line, props, over, under, totals, and all that. Certainly, if you want to get in on tonight's Oilers-Kings game, they'll be the ones to serve you tonight. So head up there, coolbet.com, and maybe, build a little something. Oilers-Kings, maybe you want to look at Golden Knights Stars, something like that. Zach Tickham, I know, sometimes likes to dabble. We're not going to say that he's a full degen right now, but did you have anything going on last night? Do you plan on having anything going on tonight?
Well, I rode with Matthew Wannick on his EST parlay.
Was that from Monday or last night?
Just last night. Just last night. Yeah, it was.
Because he was coming off the heels of a big one, was he not? Or
plus 600. I think he hit on that one. He was on the lock shop yesterday with Andrew Patterson there, 11 to noon every day. But yeah, he made a plus 700, I think, parlay yesterday. 3 teams winning. Predators getting the win, Panthers getting the win, and I think because it went to overtime, it didn't work. No, he didn't take the Caps. Rangers as well, but I think it had to be in regulation for it to hit. But all those 3 teams, they did win.
Mystic Matty. So close, yes, so far.
Close, but
that's going to eat him up, hey? He's got a guy like Iwanek, knowing him. That would be. But anything you're looking at tonight in terms of, do you have a player, any sort of prop that you might want to glance at or suggest to people to follow you on?
I haven't checked this morning, but I don't know. I feel like I want to dabble in a Fogel.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You don't need to. We don't need to
I don't need to
Coolbet is where you can go, and they'll obviously maybe set something up for you. But if you were to identify somebody tonight, Fogel, obviously the empty netter in the 7-4 victory. But would you ride with the pickup man, or is there somebody else you'd like to see maybe hop off the page and announce themselves tonight, or continue on for Monday? I guess.
I found in that first period, I think Evander Kane, he had a good couple of chances.
6 shots.
I think there's something there. A goal prop for Evander Kane, I think, would be a very good bet for this evening. I like that line.
Man, if you were to get one early or something, just to kind of put that Kings opening to like in the narrative of him getting on the score sheet and arriving and announcing.
Just the skate by the bench and the death stare. Watch that interaction. Oilers score skating by the Kings bench in the first period here, and just looking at the look. There was a lot. Like Doughty was visibly upset. There's a lot of leadership that's probably been talked about and some team mingling and meetings about what they have to do tonight. So crushing that spirit early is first goal is important.
Yeah.
I think that's.
But a guy like Kane getting it,
and Kane getting the first goal.
What that would do for people in the market, and I mean, this city
That's Zach
would pop.
coming with a dagger.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. That dagger.
Yeah, I was playing with that thing, but I might play around with that bet because plus 275 on the Vander Kane goal as well as a Fogle goal, and Bouchard plus 380 right now as well on Cool Bet.
He got the assists. Maybe he gets in the goal department tonight as well. I'm liking this feeling, guys, and the Kane thing too. I mean, that's something you could kind of. Oh boy! I mean, if you want to see bench looks as well, go back and watch Pierre-Luc Dubois skate by his own bench after getting the goal. Like, I mean, he's just that is a bad vibes there. So, but yeah, Kane tonight. I like that. Coolbet.com is where you can go if you like to do a little sprinkle on that and. Follow the boys here to the bank. Should be fascinating tonight. Of course, Vander Kane 6 shots last game, so maybe you see a little pop for him, and he announces himself in the series tonight. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Gauge your wager hashtag that comes in from Matthew Kane goal prop. Somebody saying faux goal. Yeah, Gauger's wagers. I think that's something we can roll with. But you must be in the wig.
Yeah,
just the wig, not necessarily the cape. Just the wig, just to throw people for off. Is it just me, or does Gager look like he should have that hair? Well, and you did, and that's maybe why it's such a natural look, hey? But a little more tight, as you said.
Yeah, it's a little tighter curls, but I miss it. Don't get me wrong.
Doughty was pissed because he was getting rocked every shift. I'm sure that also played a part into it. Trev Lindy. There we go. Vancouver should send Demko to Vegas to heal faster. Thank you very much. That's now it's in text form. That's good. We'll keep that. Any other texts you want for tonight's game or Gager's outfit here, 780-218-9999, and we'll get to that. It's all for A&W in the text of the day this morning, which is the $3.99 stackers. You can get a single, double, or triple stacker, lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and a new secret sauce. That's bound to have you coming back for more, so get your texts into the Paris Jewelers inbox. You could be winning $20 to A&W for that. As mentioned, it is Dallas and Vegas tonight as well from the Big D. Golden Knights up 1-0. And Boston-Toronto from the T-Dot tonight. Again, a series we won't spend too much time on this morning, but now that we have a few minutes, let's just take a little bit of a tread through this one. Big win, for that. I mean, that's something. I mean, we talk about avoiding the 2-0 series down. You're now going home 1-1. Is this where Toronto starts to kind of butt out here? These 2 games at home, and I mean, because a lot of people may be thinking this is their time. Maybe the Bruins. We talked about the goaltending carousel that's currently going on. Will Craig Button eventually be proven right in his theory that the Leafs will outlast the Bruins in this series, or is this just another tit for tat? You win one, the other team wins one, back and forth, back and forth.
I mean, I said it. That Austin Matthews, that was his best game as an NHL player. Mm-hmm. I think he left his mark all over that game. That's the type of play that they're going to need. I'm not sure of the status of one Willie Nylander if he's back in line. He's been arguably their best playoff performer over the last few years. So they need him back in the line. I haven't seen enough of Matthews doing it on a consistent basis where you have that type of game from him, where he's doing it on both sides of the puck when it matters most. So and now you go back to Swayman, where he's had success against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, watching that game, it seemed like the Bruins thought that they had that game well in hand for a long, and it's those subtle moments. It's those you just the lapse in concentration happened last night with the Jets and Avs. The ice was tilted and they broke. They didn't just bend. So there's those keeping the level of play at a certain level for amount of time and then raising it when you can. I don't see the Leafs doing that for some reason. I see Boston winning tonight.
When you know that lapse is happening within a game, and much like I get using last night in Winnipeg as an example, in the Avalanche getting those goals, in that, then the penalty, the kill, all that happening, and when you're on the other side and you know that's happening against you, Can you switch that psychologically within a game? Is that just how the game is going to go, and then you have to say, okay, got to wait till the end of the game in order to kind of somehow flush this? And even at that stage, it's difficult because, again, those moments can sometimes dictate how a series is thought between the two teams. So in a game, if you know that's kind of happening, you're like, oh boy, this was a 5-minute stretch where you can look across the bench and you're like, wow, we really got it handed to us. Can you in game like work around that and kind of lift yourself psychologically out? I know after the game you can kind of say, okay, we move on. It's a 7-game series, whatever. But how tough would that be to within the game? I mean, certainly maybe an intermission, a time like that, but to rally and overcome a psychological defeat mid-game.
It's a great question, Eric. What I look to is the experience level of the team. So and it takes a village to get you out of those situations where you can adjust. So from the coaching standpoint, you're maybe sending guys out a little bit later. You want to. Everyone's feeding. The other team's buzzing, right? You want to slow their process down. So face-offs, getting a lot of whistles.
Everything in a bit. Okay,
everything just
slow
gets,
motion, eh?
Yeah, you want to become Neo in the Matrix and slow everything down at that point. As a goalie, when you would feel that, you were freezing the puck every chance you got. The ref was telling you move it, and I'd go have the peace treaty with the ref. I go, hey, these guys are really buzzing. Give me one or two. I'll move the next one, but. We need some breaks here. We're struggling, and then you'd get the kind of subtle nod from the ref at that point. But everyone has to do that, Maybe it's even from the face-offs where the first guy gets kicked out, right? So he just gets in there and just pause, lots of pauses.
The dark arts.
So
I love it. Yeah.
It's the game within a game that, and you can see it. You can definitely see it.
If Jim Hiller comes out tonight and puts on like some black shades and he's got like a black duster coat and starts trying to kind of matrix his way through things if the Oilers get up, I'm here for it.
Old Severus Snape back there.
I don't mind if he wants to do a little cosplay as well. That's fine by me. But 780-218-9999 is the number to text or in the nasty chat as well. We'll break here. We'll get a sports update from Zacticum. On the other side, a little free advice courtesy our pal DamonBunting.com. If you have any advice that you'd like to share that you experienced during Game 1 and how you're viewing this Oilers-Kings series, if you'd like some advice from us, I don't know what I can give you, but we got a financial advisor here in the studio and a former goaltender, so I'm sure you get something out of Gage. But any advice you'd like from Gage specifically as well, text in 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as well, and we'll get to that after the sports break. Eric Macramalla is well to come, and that's good, leading us up to hour 3. But right now, a sports update from Zacticum, brought to you by the fine folks at Park Mazda.
Game 2 of the Oilers-Kings series goes tonight at 8 p.m. Join Tom Gazzola and the crew for the GCL Diesel pregame show at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Catch a show on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com starting at 6:30. The Predators tied their series with the Canucks after winning 4-1 last night. Over in Florida, the Panthers doubled up their series lead after winning 3-2 in overtime against the Lightning. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Capitals 4-3 to take a 2-0 series lead. Over in Winnipeg, the Avs tied the series at 1 with the Jets following a 5-2 win. On tap tonight, the Maple Leafs and Bruins meet for Game 3 while the Stars and Golden Knights play Game 2. Yesterday in MLB action, the Blue Jays fell 3-2 against the Royals. Game 3 of that 4-game series goes down tonight with first pitch at 5:40. Over in basketball, the Timberwolves took Game 2 against the Suns. The Pacers tied the series against the Bucks, and the Mavericks outlasted the Clippers to tie the series. NBA playoffs continue when the Celtics play the Heat and the Pelicans face the Thunder later tonight. Caitlin Clark has won her second straight James E. Sullivan Award for the most outstanding athlete at the college or Olympic level. Clark is the first player to win the award twice in its 94-year history. This Sports 8 update is brought to you by the staff at Park Mazda and Principal Mitch Lewicki. As a family man, Mitch feels that being a father is the single greatest feeling on earth. Not including those wonderful years he spent without children, of course.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
And now we're going to have a goalie fight. Here comes Cam Talbot and Mike Smith. They're going to go in center ice. Talbot short with the right hand. Smith, 3 clubbing right hands. Right hand Talbot. Big right-handed shot from Mike Smith. This is the battle of Alberta we've been waiting for 3 decades.
Evan Bouchard. Long-range pass. Zach Hyman moving in. Wrister shoot. Scores! Zach Hyman!
Richard Sam Skinner. Another Sam Skinner. Back-to-back denials. Brilliant work.
Overtime, power play, Carolina. Moving on. Brendan Moore at the far side. That's Morgan. Here's the break. And it's Pisani. Scores! A short-handed goal for Pisani. And the Edmonton Oilers come out of the box, are out on the ice, and they are celebrating a huge win. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Evan!
Can you believe it?
Evan! Evan!
7:32, you're listening to the Nielson Show, edmontonsportstalk.com, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. And as always on YouTube, hit the sub, hit the like. A little shy of 300 right now as we approach 8 o'clock. That's okay. That's a good, I'm for that, but I think and I know that we can probably do better on a Game 2 day. As Game 2 tonight, Oilers and Kings. You can join Tom Gazzola for the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game shows right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coverage beginning 6:30 this evening as he'll be live Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall. You can swing by, pick up some garb, some swag as we like to call it. A few stickers, decals, lanyards, whatever you want. I know Tommy's got the GCs down there as well for Hudson. So get down, make it worth your while. If you are heading to the game or the Moss Pit tonight, make it a pregame stop or head in and enjoy the whole game tonight and make it your place. Hudson's Bourbon Street, White Avenue. But Tom Gazzola this evening will be down at the mall at Hudson's Bourbon. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. And, of course, Nasty Chat, as mentioned, it is humming. The chat is flying around. EST keeps saying Mike Johnson on the brain this morning. I saw a TSN logo somewhere. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I saw it too.
And then years and years of saying that. It's just, I've been pretty good up to this point, I think. But anyways, for some reason today, but our EST legal analyst, Eric Macramalla, will be by here in a little less than 10 minutes, but you can keep his intros flying in. The full jaunty chimes in. Eric Macramalla, and guy whose favorite hobbies are golf, taking care of himself, and strangling small animals, which is too bad because golf's not very popular around these parts, Jaunty and Victoria. Yeah, we're it's maybe that one's for the Nasty Chat as opposed to the Paris Jewelers inbox, but you know what I mean there. Macramalla, when he sees Gager instead of Nielson.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
So I'm a little better now, a little quicker on the jaw with those. But if you have any Owen Wednesday suggestions as well, feel free to chime in, 780-218-9999. It is time for free advice, brought to you by DamonBunting.com. You know him, you love him. He is Edmonton's unofficial fan favorite when it comes to slumlords and realtors. Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in this city. You can check him out, DamonBunting.com, or his interactive Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Also, Joaquin Gage with a great Instagram handle as well. That is, again?
Joaquin Gage.
Easy. These guys know how to get you. They don't need to add any sort of wing dings, letters, words, numbers like that. So very simple. So if you have any advice you'd like to pass on our way, or once again, if you have any advice you'd like to hear from Joaquin Gage, as he is our, I guess if we ever need like a financial assistance guest on the show, you would be the one we would say, hey, Gage, could you join us? You'd don your financial cap and come on and join us.
Yeah, no, I've actually mentioned to Dusty maybe sometime in the future. You know, it was we're still in the infancy of this, so I'm sure I could clog the airwaves with some financial advice, and at some point.
As a relatively new homeowner, I have your number on file, and one of these days I will set up. We'll go to a meeting together. I'll take you out. We'll be a lunch, maybe a light lunch or liquid lunch, whatever you do.
It's usually quite a professional setting. I mean, you might even catch me in a tie in those situations.
Look at this, amazing. Look, tax season, right? I mean, we are here. What do we? You got any advice for people out there right now that you want to share? What's your one big piece? April 24th, Game 2 day tonight. That you would like to share, just maybe a freebie for people that they don't have to set up a meeting and don't have, but this is how you kind of get people. One financial keystone right now, April 24th, that you could say either leading into the summer or something along those lines.
Oh, especially, you know what, this coincides with the amount of money that's spent towards playoff enjoyment, right? So after hopefully this long run is done, I suggest to everyone is go back into everyone has usually online banking and track what they spent in that month, okay? That'll give you an idea of a lot of where some of those assets are going to. And please make a proper budget of what, and see where you can now start allocating things towards either debt elimination or adding to your investments, especially if you're a young person. And I know this is big boy grown up talk and no one wants to hear this, but it's a necessity, and you just, again, having that plan moving forward, knowing you're on the right path, can make all the difference once you hit those nice retirement ages, or maybe even hitting an age that's a little bit earlier that you planned for. So, budget creation is my tip for the day.
We're Game 2 in tonight. I would have maybe liked, how would you, heading into a playoffs, you kind of want to also position yourself so you're not. I mean, again, the games come thick and fast, right? In the off days, you kind of want to sit around and not maybe spend anything at all. Maybe hide the wallet, hide the card, throw it, toss it in your room.
This is where Edmonton's a great spot because there's not, the doldrums of February, late January. Not a lot to do. It's usually quite cold. It's still kind of dark. This is the time to, maybe you're starting that playoff fund, so to speak.
You're training. You're in training.
Yeah, we can
keep the sweats on, head down, hood over the head.
And maybe it's future planning. What I'd like to do is you can maybe that tax refund. A little bit of that is once you do your taxes, get them completed. That tax return comes in. That goes towards your playoff spending money or other things. But we can set up some buckets for that.
See, and I slept. I'm still now. I have to pay to get it done. Here I am. I should have done that. If I had this is the advice we need here, and it's courtesy Damon Bunting, Real Estate, DamonBunting.com. I just want to get into this. A few on the nasty chat as well. Managing your cap with Joaquin Gage.
That's
I like smell a segment.
I like it.
I tell you. We also got, and one quick one here before we get to our legal analyst, Eric Macramalla. Northside Sandwich. Gager, do you think the Kings will loosen up defensively at the start to try and get that first goal, then really lock it down if they get the lead? How loosey-goosey do you expect the Kings, if at all, to be?
They got the lug nuts tightened up, I think, tonight. You might see them, if they're looking at past success, and I've talked about this before, the one game where they really handed it to the Oilers back in I think it was late November, they established a very successful forward check against the Oilers and were coughing up pucks and developed I think it was a 2-goal lead. But then they sat back. Mm-hmm. They can't do that against the Oilers. The Oilers dismantle if they can get past the forecheck, which the Oilers did in Game 1, it makes it very difficult for the Kings to retreat and go into that kind of defensive shell. They have to play at a high level of defense and offense without the puck, essentially, and try to get in. Every team tries to get on each other's D and cause turnovers, but and discipline. Discipline's a massive thing for the Kings. The Oilers made them pay every chance they got when they did something stupid. So they're going to be more disciplined. I think they're going to manage the game a little bit better with their decision making and try to establish that forecheck. That's the keys for the Kings. For the Oilers, there's not much, just good first passes. Stay disciplined, stay physical. And in those moments when you have the other team pushing, like we talked about, Eric, those, you bend and don't break.
Yeah, and I think it's funny in talking about the Oilers too. The discussions are leading you to believe that they're the team that hasn't beat the Kings the last 2 years, and finally, they're not getting in, they're not playing those games that the Kings have played. No, it's not the case. It's the total opposite. They've been the ones to own them, and they're just, and I think they're getting better for future series. That's kind of the thought process going through my head, even though I don't know it.
But isn't that more of a case of I think I'm in the camp thinking that the Oilers, the only way the Kings beat the Oilers is if the Oilers beat themselves.
Yes, and that's the whole.
That's the thinking.
That's where this all I think stems from in the end too.
So that's part of it.
I'm not saying we're looking past the Kings, but I think we kind of, at least I think I am subconsciously, am looking past the Kings because these are things that's popped up in the Vegas series that you're okay, keeping your cool and all this, and not getting into those games within the game. Yes, good signs that they're not doing that, but not so much so for the Kings, but this is for future opposition.
And we talk about how after a bad game, how quickly can the team put that in the rearview mirror and think about it. You have to do that just as much with a good game. You can't be thinking, you can't be believing in your own BS after a while too. And the Oilers have shown in the last year when they're talked about glowingly. Sometimes the effort is, we can just throw our sticks out there now. And that is definitely not the case.
Need to be a little pissy in their diet, I think, when it doesn't hurt them too much. 780-218-9999. We did have a few other, I like the financial, everybody asking for, somebody wanted your opinion on Bitcoin. I'm sure our next guest can also share his opinion on that form of currency. But we thank you for that. That's something we'll have to, between Jason Milne's farm report and your financial business reporter advice, I think we got something cooking here. But 780-218-9999. Our next guest, is he ready to go?
He is not logged in yet. No.
Not logged in yet.
No.
Probably knows I'm hosting again. He's playing hooky or something. But legal analyst Eric Macramalla, who has declared for next week's CFL draft, is scheduled to be our next guest coming up. It's brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. I know Macramalla will be glued to the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs as well, and anything else. I always like to now it just seems like he's the Ohtani update, and where are we at with that, or is anything kind of happening with that? No, Eric, a huge baseball fan as well. Maybe touch on the Cleveland Guardians' hot start to the MLB campaign. So we'll just await on Eric Macramalla. Hopefully he joins us. If not, we move. That's what you do in sports, right? You can't. You just gotta go. You gotta move. Right?
Yeah.
Can't sit around. Macramalla, Joe Balaneski texted in. Yeah, not Musahara. Eric Macramalla, not Eric Musahara, as he likes to keep in touch with the Ohtani saga moving forward. 780-218-99 is the number to text. Nasty chat as well. Want to remind you as well, the GCL Diesel pregame show tonight, 6:30 with Tom Gazzola, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. And, of course, you can watch him on YouTube. He'll be set up live at Hudson's Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall for this one. I know Norman Combine is thinking of heading on down. Please feel free, go down. It is not the EST watch party. Our next one will be Sunday. That'll be Game 4, and we'll be at the Hudson's White Avenue location for that. So Dusty will be back. We'll have the entire crew out there Sunday night, but that's your next EST watch party. But feel free, head on out tonight. I know it's Wing Wednesday down at Hudson's. Tommy would love to see you. He's got the GCs. I might be showing up, might be taking my brother out for a little snack prior to the game tonight as well, so I might be hovering around Hudson's Bourbon Street tonight too. I'm a sucker for wings. As I tweeted out prior to Game 1, I'll be eating a lot of chicken over the next couple of months.
Yeah, there's nothing like a good... I think we did the draft of snack. I don't know. What's your favorite kind of food to eat during a game? Like a Stanley Cup playoff game, Oilers involved. You're out at Hudson's. What are you going to?
It's to me, it's the boneless. And I'm going to get a lot of guff, and I know I get it. Chicken nuggets, whatever you want to call them. But I had a plate of hot the other night, boneless nugs, and then I have the chicken Caesar variety, to which they have that shaved Parmesan, and I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But the best thing is you're shaking a lot of hands, you're doing a lot of high fives, you're doing a lot of things with your hands, and then you got the heat and the fork into the mouth, boom, away you go.
Really?
Clean the plate up, and you're laughing. So. a handful of those Bale House ales as well in pint form, and you're having a good night. But it looks like legal analyst Eric Musahara is ready to go. Don't call him Macramalla or call him Macramalla. Once again, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Go see Mitch and the crew down at Park Mazda. They'll sell you a car, they'll cheer on the oil, and they'll get you doing that all in a fun, friendly manner. ParkMazda.ca, or visit them down in Sherwood Park. Welcome back to the show, Eric. How you doing today? What do you got here?
I see that. Oh, hey, let me get my mic closer to me.
Is that a smoke alarm?
Is that better? Is that okay? You hear me better?
Yeah,
Can you hear?
great.
Hello. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I see you got Tim Hortons there. So I got Tim Hortons this morning on the way. Right there. Sorry, because the camera is backwards here. It's really irritating. So, but they have these new lids, right? Because something about the environment, yada yada yada, don't want to destroy it. So they're kind of like cardboardy. So the part that flips here, the second you get it, it gets all mushy. And then it's very flaccid and very much like me, just drops down like this and then just stays down and it goes into your coffee. I don't usually complain about things because I'm Egyptian. I eat out of the garbage, but I feel like this wasn't well conceived.
So the little thing is just it's just soaking. Hey, is that what it is? It's soaking?
I think I was pretty clear about what's happening here.
Yeah. Soaking.
It's soaking. Yeah. Like, because you guys have Tim Hortons right there. Are they a sponsor?
Well, I have a Cialis lid, so it's firm. It's I don't know. Maybe it's different out west.
That's nice. Why don't you drink up? So, but is Tim Hortons? Are they a sponsor because they're featured in the middle of your desk?
No, Eric. My name's Joaquin Gage. I'm a EST part-time host. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I bring
it's a pleasure to speak to you too. I love your cap. I wish I would get one, but God forbid they give me any compensation in any form whatsoever for the past 12 years.
I'm actually I've run into Mitch numerous times, and where is Eric's car? That's what I've been on this for the past 8 years trying to get you your vehicle.
My car?
So it's
you mean my car that was stolen? You mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
The Ranger. Yeah. It was last year. I'll tell you what my car is. I believe Oscar Pistorius is driving around his yard while wearing his ankle bracelet. I'm pretty sure that's what my car is, or the Royals have my car because they always seem to pull up in Range Rovers. They're not like Prince William's not a Range Rover guy. Agreed. He's more of a neon guy. What do you think? He's weak. He's a loser.
Sunfire, maybe.
He's like Jeb Bush. Right?
Jeb Bush, like your coffee container this morning, maybe as well.
I don't understand. It's like, who said this is a good idea? It's cardboard. It's like putting paper on top of the coffee.
You need one of these, baby.
Well, I have mugs, but the thing with mugs, I think men would agree is that we use them once or twice. We don't keep them clean, and then they get hard and they crystallize, and you can't use them again, right? Look, I've already ripped off the top now.
Got to keep it clean, safety reasons.
My wife and daughter, they collect those things. It's all. You'd think I'd have had tons of success in the playoffs because my house is littered with Stanley Cups.
Does your wife and daughter, do they have like the Stanley?
Of course, yeah. My daughter takes this I love the SNL skit with the big dumb cups, and my daughter has the big Stanley Cup and constantly mentions actually that you've never won one of these.
So what do you do when she tells you haven't won a Stanley Cup?
I cry, suck my thumb, and assume the fetal position, but
flaccid like the lid,
just like your lid.
You should just tell her, well, at least I've accomplished something, loser. And then compare her to Jeb Bush.
That's two. Eric, I want to get into this one. Fat Efron texts in. He says, Utah Soakers sponsored by Tim Hortons' new cardboard lids. And that leads me to the delightful appearance from Gary Bettman and the Coyotes. Do you want to walk us through that? The guy in the white suit with the Habsburg jaw and trying to say that he hates the media, and Gary Bettman touching his arm really awkwardly and saying, no, I got this. That was a fascinating watch, was it not?
Everything that happens around Gary Bettman is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you watch him, aren't you like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I know that he kind of shakes his head like Audrey Hepburn when he talks, is like, like this. It's like, whoa, stop it. I thought something was wrong with my TV the first time he was on TV. I'm like, I started adjusting in the old days, adjusting him, or the lines going up and down. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you. It's just another NHL thing. It's like here. Yesterday, I was watching Canada's Got Talent with my two boys. Okay, my boys are 7 and 10, and both have great hair. So their life is going to be terrific. And we've been watching America's Got Talent up to that point. And literally 3 acts in, my son Daniel, who's 10, says, "This show sucks." And I said, "Well, what have you learned, son? American TV is better than Canadian TV." And then we laughed. And it's true. And the NHL is kind of like Canadian TV, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't like our music anymore. We don't like our movies. We don't like our, I mean, you can go down the line, right? But the NHL, it's a Canadian game and it's an American league. Fair?
Fair.
Is it? I guess.
Is it? I asked the question.
That's it. That's a great question, Eric. Is your hair in a ponytail today?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row, right?
Nice. Huh. Okay.
Dustin's back tomorrow.
Like
You'll have
like
him
a
next
young,
Wednesday.
confused Michael Bolton. What? Okay. I don't know. That's a great question. You said it's a Canadian game in an American league.
Well, it is. I mean, we can't. That's the
yeah,
thing.
but it's still a league that suffers from low self-esteem, and for that reason, remains Canadian.
Right,
It's
which is why it's not
unwilling-
breaking down the doors and the barriers in that American market. It's a struggle here, isn't it?
So that's why it's not an. So you said it was a Canadian game, but an American league.
Yeah,
is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't think it's an American league. I think that most of the teams are in the U.S. Such a great question or a comment. But because the game has low self-esteem, because the game is reluctant to make the most obvious changes with a view to securing more of a market share in the U.S. and aligning themselves with suburban moms and dads when it comes to violence in the game, it's a game. It's a league that is unwilling to make those changes, and that makes them squarely Canadian.
But they're trying, and then they don't want to. Like they're just it's stuck in the middle. Gary's got his arms like this, and you got two people. You're just tugging his arms, and his head.
You know what?
Bobbling all over the
It's
place.
funny. You know, I go to a lot of meetings internally, you know, or when I've got clients brokering these acquisitions and stuff, and some of the stuff you see, it's like on repeat. It's people don't want to make changes because they've done things a certain way for so long. So there's this organic kind of inertia to making changes simply because you've done it a certain way. And that's why it's always a really good idea for leadership to change. And it does for a lot of these companies, every 5 years, because you need fresh eyes. Gary Bettman's been the commissioner now for how many years? Feels like 30. I don't know. I'm just guessing top of my head. Maybe you can Google it.
Lifetime.
You can avail yourself of the Google search engine service and see how long he's been the commissioner of the NHL, but sometimes you need someone else to come in. I mean, you've got Gary Bettman, who appoints George Parros in charge of player health and safety, effectively, player discipline. Well, then you are aligning yourself with the past rather than looking to forge a new path ahead. That's right. I said that. What do you think, Mr. Gage? Because you played.
I don't. If we're talking about player safety, the line is way too gray to know what's where's the line to where the suspensions begin and the fines end, or vice versa. I don't know what it is. Like looking at Edmonton just the last game, we saw a low hit that in my eyes is at least, I mean, I know playoffs are different from a regular season, but at least it's a fine. Like at least you're drawing a line. Now with Trevor Moore, well, I can do that's an okay hit. I can keep doing that. Last year we saw one of the probably the most vicious slaps we've seen in the NHL in a long time with Pietrangelo on Leon Draisaitl. He gets one game. Where is it? Depends on the player who does it. It depends on the time of year. I just think, just like in most cases, any attempt to injure a player should be looked at as a number of games that the player that did such offense should be suspended for, and draw that line right in the sand. And up the fines. I mean, you're a rich guy. I ask you, hey, you drove too fast. You're in Finland. You have to spend $10,000.
I don't drive myself around, but thank you.
Is that rich?
well, then
so embarrassing
to drive.
you can drop $10K for your speeding ticket in Finland, but
it's kind of isn't it kind of like the Grammys, always going down to the mic? Hi, how's it going? I'm really happy to be here. It's okay. It's a microphone. It will hear you. No, you know what? I think, first I was just thinking, if this were Key and Peele, I will pronounce your name Joaquin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you're bang on. Is we have no clue, and the players have no clue what type of infraction will invite what type of discipline. Just have no clue because it's widely inconsistent. And the hallmark of effective discipline is precedent, is making sure that it's predictable, that the outcome is predictable. And because it's not, everybody's treated differently. That's why players continue to do what they do. It literally, as a hockey fan, because now that's what you are, right, Gage? Now you've gone from playing to becoming a hockey fan. It must be maddening at times to, especially by virtue of having played, maddening to watch some of this, that one guy gets one game for something and then another guy gets 6 games and it looks like it's the same thing. It's so disappointing as a hockey fan to have to continue to watch this when the fix is very simple. Shot to the head, minimum 5 games, right? You slash a guy, whatever. Like, there should be a clear outcome. That's, again, the hallmark of effective discipline. Eric, what do you think?
Well, I'm just going to say that your time's up, Eric. And in the spirit of change in NHL and hockey, I do look forward to Alex Murillo's Coyotes 2.0 whenever he builds the complex down there in the desert.
We were having a nice organic discussion, me and Joaquin.
Yes.
And then you just so tightly managed the show, and it's disappointing.
So on the clock,
I'm disappointed.
It's the time.
It's only 9:56 here, so it's like what, 7:54 where you are. It's the time difference, 2 hours and 2 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, 6 minutes late. We're gonna have to fly
well,
here.
What if
Eric?
I choose not to hang up?
It was you can stay on and listen around. It's fine, but we'll talk to you.
I thought Joaquin and I were having a nice conversation.
Next Wednesday, it's legal analyst Eric Macramalla.
Joaquin and Jeb Bush.
4. That's a new record. Legal analyst Eric Macramalla. We appreciate his time as always. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Check them out online, parkmazda.ca. Go and see Mitch dealership in Sherwood Park. Great people, great dealership. Get a Mazda today, and maybe go in there and ask them about Macramalla's car and see if it's coming off the line anytime soon. Want to get into quickly, That's Good, brought to you by the Italian Center Shop. And I do believe I know where we're going here ahead of 8 o'clock. But the Italian Center Shop, the Spinelli Panino, get in there today. I know we're talking about food and getting yourself primed and ready for tonight's game, but don't sleep on this. Get a couple of paninos, head into the Italian Center Shop today. House-made baguette topped with olive oil, oregano, roasted red pepper spread, then loaded with mortadella, capicolo, Genoa, salami, and provolone, available hot or mild, wrapped up in the deli paper, so you know it's good. It's an easy grab-and-go meal for any occasion, specifically playoffs. And again, it's 8 o'clock puck drops. But there's no supper. You're kind of eating on the fly.
Yeah.
Perfect thing to do. Head into the Italian Center. Get yourself some Spinelli Paninos, and you can thank us later. But the That's Good. I think, boys, we're all in unison here. Zactigum kind of, came in this morning and said, yeah, that's probably, I got to agree. I don't know if anything else last night jumps off the page, but the Bobrovsky elbow, and as a former pro goaltender here, the feeling. Right?
Yeah.
Describe the feeling again, right?
Yeah, no, it's you're dead to rights, basically. You can see it in the eyes of the opponent.
Yeah, like that millisecond that's happening. You're like, well, my back's to the guy.
Yeah.
You're looking at the camera that's looking at you in your neck. You're like, ugh.
And you throw any part of your body back in the way that you think the guy is going to shoot, which is funny because a lot of players always put the puck up, and they see an open net, usually in those cases, and they want to throw it like mid-high, back to the middle. It's all part of picking your spot and putting it in the corner.
Along the
slide
it in there.
Just slide it right. You'd probably score most of the time if you just slid it across the ice. But no, great save, and it was. What a series with those two goalies. That's goalie heaven.
You're really blessed with that, and then the teams in their own, just the fast pace and the excitement, and certainly star power in both rosters. But the goaltending certainly is. What did you after you regained consciousness, Zach? After that, you passed out, you laid on the floor for a bit, you woke back up, and you're like, "Wow, what a save!" Right?
Well, I was genuinely screaming at the TV. I was just in shock of what happened. That save, I saw his back turn to the left post, and it was just thrown on the net. And back and forth action both ways, but the entire time I couldn't get Bobrovsky out of my head. I went to bed and kind of, had dreams about that save. I swear.
Unreal.
It's and the elbow, and you mentioned too with the padding and stuff. And
because if anyone, you go into a sports store, look at the armor that these goalies wear now. look at the backside of the arm, and you'll feel that tremendously. I mean, I'd love to talk to Bobrovsky about how that
elbow
felt.
bruise is a point of pride.
Oh
eh?
yeah,
You're like, well,
yeah. There's probably a
is...
little mark on there that he shows everyone, and yeah, that was great, fantastic.
The loser chiming in 780-218-9999. I have the day off tomorrow.
Oh my!
6 o'clocker loggers will be consumed. That's good, and that's the loser sharing his or her. That's good with us. That is good, real good. And once again, 6 o'clocker loggers $1 off at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor for a 4-pack. Suggest just buying the case. You might as well at this point. We did the math. It's 16 wins the path to the cup. 4-pack a lager. You can just kind of set them up and knock them down as you go and follow the Oilers' chase for the Stanley Cup. But get your 6 o'clocker loggers today at any Sobeys and Safeway Liquor.
You have to do. Yeah, this is the time of year where you know, again, planning part of it all.
Yep.
You have to plan for overtime. You know, so maybe just an extra 4-pack.
Whatever you're getting, just get an extra.
Yeah.
You're getting a couple of Panino sandwiches, get an extra for that overtime tonight. But that's good. Once again, brought to you by Italian Center Shop. Spinelli Paninos, get them today. The sandwiches, the deli. I mean, just get a bunch of cheese. That's how I do it. Cheese. They got great crackers as well. Crackers from all over. That's the best part about the store is it feels like you're on some sort of a European vacation. You're getting brands. You're seeing brands and things that you haven't seen before. Get in there. Experiment a bit. I promise you won't be disappointed. The pizza pies are great. You can make them yourself. Even get a few sugary treats from the bakery. Won't hurt. We won't tell anybody. Don't worry about it.
5 cents, he says his pregame meal is penne pasty with a third of a panino from the old
I like the third.
Italian Center.
Yeah, you got to cut them up in
good.
little quadrants or thirds. I like that Spency 5 centsy, but yeah, get into that. Italian Center Shop. That's good. Get it today. Okay, 8:02. We're a little behind. We got the Vegas keyword coming up in hour number 3, probably about midway, 8:20. Right now, I want you to text in 780-218-9999 if you want to play kind of easy trivia. We got Joaquin Gage this morning. He'll be asking the questions. Kind of easy, I would assure. But if you want to win $25 to Mr. Mike's, they got the 6 o'clocker lager as well. Also, some delicious food to get you set for Oilers and Kings tonight. 780-218-9999 if you want to play. Text in, say, Zach, I'd like to play. He'll pick one of you. We'll bring you on next, and we'll go through that whole episode of Kind of Easy Trivia. 3 questions too many as well. Vegas keyword, ESPN's Greg Wyshynski. A weekly rankings of power brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club from Joaquin Gage this morning. You won't want to miss this. And an orange and blue breakfast to get you set for Oilers and Kings Game 2. So text in if you want to play trivia. Zach's going to have a sports update here. He'll then choose somebody, and we'll bring them in next. Hour number 3 on the way. It's the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, Zach Kim with you in here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Game 2 of the Oilers-Kings series goes tonight at 8 p.m. Join Tom Gazzola and crew at the GCL Diesel pregame show at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Catch the show on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Predators tied their series with the Canucks after winning 4-1 last night. Over in Florida, the Panthers doubled up their series lead, winning 3-2 in overtime against the Lightning. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Capitals 4-3 to take a 2-0 series lead. In Winnipeg, the Avalanche tied their series at 1 with the Jets following a 5-2 win. On tap for tonight, the Maple Leafs and Bruins meet for Game 3 while the Stars and Golden Knights play Game 2. Yesterday in the MLB, the Blue Jays fell 3-2 against the Royals. Game 3 of that 4-game series goes down tonight at 5:40. In basketball, the Timberwolves took Game 2 against the Suns. The Pacers tied their series against the Bucks, and the Mavericks outlasted the Clippers to tie their series as well. NBA playoffs continue when the Celtics play the Heat and the Pelicans face the Thunder later tonight. Caitlin Clark has won her 2nd straight James E. Sullivan Award for the most outstanding athlete at the college or Olympic level. Clark is the first player to win the award twice in its 94-year history. This sports update is brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeymen, bricklayers, and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing that they're an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburn-services.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Get me a soda with some ice in it.
You behave.
Tipped. Perry shoots and scores. CC shoots. Scores. Ryan Macallum. Can it be? It is. Connor Brown's first goals in Oilers. Let in.
Score!
Pain in the ass.
Brunswick wasted in overtime.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
An unlikely hero.
Are you kidding me? Who would have thought Jason Strudwick would get a shift in overtime?
Wow. Draisaitl keeps, shoots, scores.
You versus that.
17 seconds remaining. Here's the Stefan, and he goes in, and he missed the bell. And now here's a long pass
Move it,
to Ryan Smith in front of Himsky. Himsky with 2 seconds to play in the third period.
What a beautiful play. Started again. Coast to coast.
Are you kidding me?
The Oilers pouring it on. Wow. Game over.
You want them to take me away.
8:05 Edmonton Sports Talk. It is the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric and Joaquin Gage with you. Dustin Nielson, I do believe, back in the city limits today. Might even be at the game tonight, but he'll be back on the air with you tomorrow morning, breaking down Game 2 between the Oilers and Kings here on the Nielson Show. Of course, taking a little time with his family prior to the hectic and fun Canadian Football League season that is just on the horizon. Of course, draft coming up next week, NFL draft tomorrow. So, football, I'm getting excited. It'll be you cradling me in your arms at Commonwealth after a fourth quarter and filling my mouth with hamburger and hot dog meat.
It's a virtual baby Bjorn.
I'm trying to make it a tradition unlike any other, but I can't wait until a hot summer's eve and Joaquin Gage fixing me up.
I've got
as
my
he does.
schedule too, so it's good. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to have to
Yeah.
combine these overlap calendars here. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. I know a lot of you texted in wanting to play Kind of Easy Trivia. Pizza Guy Justin, I see you. I've been following you for a bit, of course, from the old place, but I know you've been kind of traveling around. Nice to see you back in the inbox, my man. Also in the nasty chat, if you want to chime in. I'm trying to keep us on the clock. Macramalla was skating a bit. I should have issued him a fine, but that's okay. We'll continue. Vegas keyword coming up in about 12 minutes' time, so we'll get going with this. Zach, who do we got on the line this morning?
Pizza Guy Justin.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Really?
We got him on the line. Come on.
For crying out loud. I say it and you get him on the line. Zach, you were quick. Pizza Guy Justin, how you doing, man? Nice to hear from you again.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Can't complain. Got the bike ready to go? We're going to hit some trails this summer or what?
I lent it out and I haven't received it back yet.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, we'll get back to that, and once they sweep the streets about a little bit and clean things up, we'll get our schedule synced as well. But you know how we do. It's $25 to Mr. Mike's on the line. If you get 3 of 5, you'll be off to there. $25 richer. Joaquin Gage has the questions. He'll read the first. I'll start the ticker after, and we'll be good to go. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, Justin. Who do the Oilers play tonight?
Kings.
Is Trevor Moore a dirty player?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Connor McDavid is tied for the lead in playoff scoring.
No.
True or false? Dustin Nielson is back tomorrow at EST.
Yes.
Do the Oilers take a commanding 2-0 series lead tonight?
Yes.
He's got it.
Yeah, you got it.
You
You got
versus us.
it. Good job, Justin.
It's Messi! All the pieces falling into place.
Slapashov and scores! Oh my lord!
Larson shoots, he scores!
Magnus Payerby! The St. Louis Blues win in overtime. You could drop a tarantula into his shorts and he'll still be cool.
Popping their cherries.
Draisaitl with an empty net.
Sidney Crosby!
Ryan Goins has gone deep!
Here comes Adam Larson. Streaking up the ice through the puck in front, he scores!
Taddy likes.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
That was
There's nothing like a cold one after a long day, huh?
These are their stories.
In reality, we really couldn't think that we're going to win every game.
Oh, yeah. I've been known to drink a beer or two.
The police who investigate crime.
Hello? Hi, is Peter there? This is Peter speaking. Hey, Peter, it's Dustin Nielson and Will Fraser from TSN 1260. How are you? Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Dustin. How are you? I'm doing all right. Do you know why we're calling, Peter? I think so, buddy. Congratulations, man. You're going to Germany.
What say you? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Holy wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
But then again, I've been known to do a lot of things.
Like the Predator he is.
That you pushing too many pencils?
Good morning.
I'm your huckleberry.
Good afternoon. And good night.
Popping their cherries.
Toronto.
Good night. Good morning, Toronto. Leafs Bruins re-engaging their series tonight as well. But a Club 8 Loop remix from the Vault, courtesy Pizza Guy Justin. Nice to hear from him again. He's off to Mr. Mike's. They don't care how you win, you just get the win, right? That's the old saying that they...
Yeah, they don't ask how. They don't ask.
That's what it is, yes. So we thank him for providing that Club Blue Bringers from the Vault, featuring Dustin Nielson, who, as was answered in Kind of Easy Trivia, will be back tomorrow on the show. And we'll get going with that. 3 questions too many right now. Let's get right into it. Brought to you by Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Check them out, parkmazda.ca. Park Mazda in the park. Once again, show up. Demand that you speak to dealer principal Mitch and ask him why he hasn't sent Eric Macramalla his vehicle as of yet. It's a great dealership, personable people. They'll get you in the proper fit and the proper car to suit your needs today. So check them out, parkmazda.ca. Well, first off, social medias, again, just to reiterate and let people know where they can find you, Joaquin Gage, both Twitter, Instagram, and whatever, LinkedIn, if you will.
On the X or Twitter, it's Joaquin at Joaquin Gage 31. Instagram, just straight Joaquin Gage. If you are looking to create a plan, you can reach out to and check out our website at www.k4financial.ca. That's the letter K, number 4, financial.ca. And we can get you prepped and ready for this during this playoff season, so you can really hit the ground running come summertime.
Was it Joe Balanescu that called you out the nasty chat of being like?
Well, it's the part. It's the steps. He didn't see the steps, so I've created the plan in the first step, and I've assumed, sorry, Joe, that you've done the work, you've put in the time, and now you can experience the bliss of your fruits and labors by having that solid financial playoff spending plan.
Sleeping easy, right? And kind of not having to think. You just go out and execute.
Just go.
Muscle memory, that type of thing. Zactim, do you have a... Look, you've been killing it, man. You're busy back there. You got 16 monitors that you're gazing at. The headphones are on, jaunty. And I don't want to disturb you because you're doing a great job doing the show, but did you want to let people know of your social media handles and where they can find you? Because you might be a man about town here coming up in the next few, eh?
Yeah, I'm too busy on my TikTok right now, actually. I'm not really doing much work. Yeah, I'm just sitting here on TikTok watching all the videos, but
love it.
No, you can follow me anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well.
Zach?
Zachary HMK.
Zachary HMK.
Yeah.
And Zachary spelled just like Hyman, correct?
Yeah, just like Hyman,
Just like your boy.
with the H, Zach Harry. Or Hari, or however you want to say that. I don't know. There's
Zachary.
Zachary. Yeah, there's a lot of names, a lot of ways to say it, but that's the way I got mine, and I was born with that birthright, I guess. I don't know. That's the one. Yeah.
I'll stop you right there. That's great. You don't need to. We love you for it, man. Zacticum right there. Again, check him out. He does a great job online as well, and a pretty entertaining follow. Question number 1, what is the theme or the talking point coming out of tonight's Game 2? And Zach, if you wanted to chime in as well, feel free. But what is the grand... Maybe you can even boil this down to one word, what we're saying tomorrow. But if you want to kind of, explore it in a sentence as well, I'll give you that. But what's the theme?
I think the theme is, taken after tonight.
After tonight
is don't take your foot off the snake's throat. I think the Oilers are going to. I think this is an Oilers win, going down to Los Angeles with their backs against the wall.
And stylistically, it doesn't matter.
No,
this is not a if LA say in some dimension they're screaming foul, that something goes against them and it's a tight game and but a win's a win in this case.
No, that's I think that's That's the message after tonight's game.
I'm going to go with Evander Kane announcing himself. And it was a shout that we had during the Coolbet Canada hotline of the day. And Zach, you looked up the numbers on coolbet.com and we were kind of talking. We've been talking about, Pisani-like figures or people outside because it's very easy to look at the Oilers and look at the top and the big dogs. And certainly they were as advertised on Monday night. But who can kind of, provide the secondary and bubble up from above? And I think, again, a lot of people, not loudly, but just quietly saying, hey, Kane had a solid game. Again, coming off the injury announcement that was made. But 6 shots on net. I'll look for him to, and again, nothing too spectacular, not driving the entire game, but just a moment, an X factor and an X moment. I see him popping up tonight. Zach, do you have any thoughts tonight? What's the narrative coming out of the game or leading into game 3?
I don't know. It's nice. Nice the Oilers got game 1. Kind of the monkey off the back there to start a series, and I think both teams are going to be fighting hard. This is going to be a hard-fought game. It's not going to be coming easy to any team. The LA Kings are going to put up a fight, I think, and as you stated earlier in the show, they're definitely going to come out, I guess, swinging for the fences early in the game. Oilers started better off in the first 10 minutes of the game. They put the pressure on right away. But this is going to be an interesting game. Either way it goes, whoever gets momentum first.
Yep.
But I do think the Oilers have the capability of getting this one tonight. Not without a fight and a couple scars, maybe a spleen or something like that. No, I don't think it. Nothing like that, yeah. No organs, but...
Organ finds its way in the ice?
Yeah, maybe Trevor Moore lays another hit or two.
Trevor Moore. I think we'll have more on more coming up here in the weekly rankings of power. I don't want to give too much away here, but question number 2 and 3 questions too many. Thatcher Demko, do we see him again? And I know a couple people, and the reporting on this, and Farhan Lalji, kind of he's the man on the beat there in Vancouver, but, I mean, it's playoffs time. We know he was dealing with something prior to the postseason. Now, to the degree, I mean, that's up in the air. And I mean, somebody was like, well, if the Canucks are really behind the 8 ball, I mean, you kind of go, you go all out at that point, whether aside from his legs both being broken, right? You kind of try to get something. So will the Canucks find themselves in that position where they have to kind of go to a less than 100% Demko at all? Do we see him at all? Do the Predators just take this and move on and they don't try to insert Demko back in? Like,
I mean, the final decision has to come down to the player himself, but you got to think about the future too. And I think it was Farhan that said this isn't the same injury of the knee; it's another part of the same knee.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no, I think he's
not the injury, but the same knee and the
same knee, but a different injury. So
that's a career looking at you, right?
That's at this time. I mean, Christmas, 2 months out, right? That's. Right now, I don't think we're going to see, unfortunately for the Vancouver Canucks and their fans, Thatcher Demko is going to be playing another game for the Canucks in this playoffs.
And it's not their time. And I say that with all due respect to the handful of Canucks fans that may or may not be listening this morning, but, right? I mean, it is a great regular season. That's fine. And you can, if there was an in-season tournament, they maybe could have won that. But that's kind of what the Canucks are this year, Or
hey, you only learn from your failures when... with that, I should be a genius right now, but you look at the Oilers past few years, there's been disappointment. They've learned a lot about themselves and what it takes. And I think you have to do that with a team that hasn't been in the playoffs a lot. This is the next step.
Well, you've been brewing beer.
Yeah.
Fair to say that now with this 2-pad stack Pilsner, you are more like the Oilers. Whereas earlier on in your brewmaster days, you're kind of, experimenting with things. Maybe some days you're an Elias Pettersson. Other day, you're kind of...
No, I've
second guessing the entire thing. Maybe.
It's taken a while to become proficient with the silky suds of the 2-pad stack Pilsner.
Get the 2-pad stack pill as well if you know. It's kind of more of a speakeasy drink. But the 6 o'clocker loggers, 4-pack, $1 off at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Get them today. As we said, get a case, 4 times 4, 16. The 16 wins needed. The numbers add up. It's a really beautiful thing. And question number 3 here. What's another story coming out of tonight's outside of the Oilers and Kings, but the schedule heading around league? Of course, Toronto at home to Boston. That series even at 1. The Stars hosting the Golden Knights with Vegas ahead 1-0. I mean, is it Vegas coming out of this thing leading 2-0 going home? Is it the Leafs, getting ahead of the Bruins now with another game to come at home. What's the grand theme outside of Kings and Oilers tonight that you could see developing in terms of a narrative or storyline?
Cheaters in Vegas, with Leafs getting ready for their tailor-made season.
Cheaters in Vegas, Leafs tailor-made season. That's the bet.
I think that's what it
the
is.
bet. I think a lot of people might agree with that. Zach, same thing.
Well, I expect the Stars to come out and try and play their best hockey. I mean, Ottinger did not play up to his standards of goaltending. He's kind of been shaky a little bit throughout the season.
Ottinger would be a story for you tonight.
Ottinger might be the big
bell.
factor.
Yeah,
the big factor tonight. If he shows up or doesn't show up and lets in a lot of goals, very welcoming. Lets a lot of people in and into his crease or whatnot. And the Maple Leafs versus Bruins, I got to say, I'm not sure what's going to happen there with Nylander maybe being out. I'm not sure if he's back in the lineup tonight, but that'll be another big factor for tonight if Nylander is back in the lineup to try and help the Maple Leafs get the lead in the series.
We'll be itching for Leafs fans' tears on our television screens, rest assured, as I love watching their little pit out there as well, and pit of misery at most times. I'm going to add a fourth question here, and I know it's going to piss off Dean Belanger because it's 8:21, and we'll have your Vegas keyword here in about 30 seconds, but it is New Kids on the Block Day, April 24th.
Wow.
I know this would translate to you, but favorite boy band of all time, boys? What do we got here?
Oh, gosh.
Is it them?
I don't know. Backstreet Boys, I think, kind of. I was more of a
They're your
fan.
golden standard. Hey,
yeah, no, that.
Shall we say?
mean,
I don't know. They always credit the New Kids to.
Yeah, NSYNC was good. I was dominating over in Europe at that point, so there was a lot of push for the boy bands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting the one with Ricky Williams. Was it Ricky Williams? Williams. Anyway,
Ricky Martin.
No. English
Enrique
guy.
Iglesias.
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams.
Yeah, his boy band was quite big.
I Don't Want to Rock DJ.
Yeah.
Robbie
Williams was massive over there. He suddenly touched the airwaves in North America, but you go to the UK, it was Robbie Williams all day, every day, 24/7.
Take that.
That was it. Good boy band. Not bad at all.
Great stuff. I love it. You like boy bands?
Well, I'm looking in the chat. I got a couple boy bands in mind. The first one that came to mind for me, though, that I grew up with, and a lot of their artists, I guess now they're broken up, unfortunately, for a lot of fans, is One Direction.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay, yeah.
Those eyes say everything, but
they've gone in different directions now.
No, gone in multiple directions.
Hanson?
Oh.
Mbop, right? I don't know if it's a traditional boy band by the strict definition, but I mean, it was a style, it was a drip, it was a time, right? And I know, growing up, you always had schoolyard girlfriends and stuff, and you date them, and I always like you, but I always like AJ.
Yeah.
And you're like, those freaking boy bands, but you.
I mean,
there is a respect there as well.
They're all they were all boy. The Beatles were the original boy band.
Absolutely.
Right? So they
screaming and stuff. Somebody says the Bee Gees in the nasty chat. Right?
Oh, Bee Gees are coming out on top. If that's a boy band, there's certain definitions to it. Somebody's saying NWA.
It's pretty loose. Yeah, no, I get it. We've opened up. We ain't putting this toothpaste back. Let's sashay then, shall we? It's 8:23. It is time. Phones at the ready. We'll have you got the word over there too? I'll read the thing here. It's the EST Yag Flyaway. We'll have the keyword right now. Your next chance coming up in the Hangout 9 to 11 with that. I want it. The Lock Shop afterwards as well. And coming up later on the oil stream. But we'll be giving away the trip Friday. So not a lot of chances left to qualify, but this is your one right now. We're going to have a word. It's going to be on the screen. We will say it. We will harp over it. And you will text it in to 780-218-9999. Zach's going to run all those texts through a randomizer. One's going to pop out. And then he'll give you a call. So when you text in the word, don't turn your phone off. Keep the phone there. That's the key. Because you might be getting that call. And then you complete the final step. Zach will bring you in. We'll bring you on the air. And you'll be qualified into that draw on Friday. Once again, a trip to Vegas. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodation. Tickets for a Cirque du Soleil show presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from Fly YEG. Visit www.flyyeg.com for more. It's outstanding. We did it. We did it in February, so you didn't have to go through the initial trip. We've done it. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. Once again, I raw dogged both flights pretty much. I had no earphones in me. It was great. It's Vegas, baby. It's nice. You're going down there. It's party. You're coming home. Everybody's nice, a little quiet. You know, the lights are kind of dimmed a bit. It's a nice way to come home. But again, nonstop flights to and fro. We want to send you there. So the word today, it's the 24th of April. New Kids on the Block Day. And you'll be texting in the word. It's a 4-letter word. It also, I think, ties into Tales of the North. Am I right here? Yeah. Zach, you got it up on the screen as well. So the key word today that you want to text in, 780-218-9999. The word is for a chance at a nonstop trip to Vegas. Text in this word right now, 780-218-9999. The word is, it's a 4-letter word. Aria. It's Aria.
I go Aria.
Because it's the... Yesterday, I know PCL, I was a little confused. I come in here, and I'm like, PCL, what's that? I'm like, I'm swearing I want its name. Jason Millen's like, no, wait, it's the Bali. I said, oh, it's great. So Aria, in terms of Vegas, right? That's the hotel, right? It's a resort casino, luxury hotel.
Resort and casino,
Is it an acronym, though, as well? ARIA? Or is it just a name? Because I know Game of Thrones, Aria, but I'm just wondering where they... educate me, if you will, 780-218-9999. Text in the word and let me know
one of
why.
the many MGM luxurious resorts.
Is it like a Greek goddess or something? We've named it the goddess Aria.
If I go into images, what it'll show me. But no, I'm seeing a lot of fairies and stuff. So it looks really nice.
Duck Dad, what is this? Aria just tossing letters together at this point? Maddie, I didn't say that. That was Duck Dad. So text Aria in right now, 780-218-9999. Zach will pick a lucky winner, and maybe Zach will get to that after ESPN's Greg Wyshynski. Is that fair? Let the texts roll in. You can kind of take your time, find somebody there, and we'll get to that as well. But a quick sports update as well, Zach. Is that cool? Can we hit a sports update? Big Mama's and Papa's Pizza. I know Greg Wyshynski is in the bullpen waiting, and we'll get to him here in about a minute. ESPN's Greg Wyshynski on the way to discuss everything and anything from the Stanley Cup playoffs. Quick sports update from Zachtkam, and we'll head into the final portion of the Nielson Show here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Game 2 of the Oilers-Kings series goes tonight at 8 p.m. Join Tom Gazzola and crew for the GCL Diesel pregame show at Hudson's Bourbon Street. Catch the show on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com at 6:30. The Predators tied their series with the Canucks after winning 4-1 last night. Over in Florida, the Panthers doubled up their series after winning 3-2 in overtime against the Lightning. Elsewhere, the Rangers beat the Caps 4-3 to take a 2-0 series lead, and in Winnipeg, the Avs tied their series at 1 with the Jets following their 5-2 win. On tap tonight, the Maple Leafs and Bruins meet for Game 3 while the Stars and Golden Knights play in Game 2. Yesterday in MLB action, the Blue Jays fell 3-2 against the Royals. Game 3 of that 4-game series goes down tonight with first pitch at 5:40. In basketball, the Timberwolves took Game 2 against the Suns. The Pacers tied their series against the Bucks, and the Mavericks outlasted the Clippers to tie their series as well. NBA playoffs continue when the Celtics play the Heat and the Pelicans face the Thunder later tonight. Caitlin Clark has won her second straight James E. Sullivan Award for the most outstanding athlete in the college or Olympic level. Clark is the first player to win the award twice in its 94-year history. Sports update brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery chain. Serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings, each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them at 12848 97th Street. Order today on www.bmpp.ca or call 587-746-0550.
Cross your heart and hope to die.
8:30, Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric in with you. Joaquin Gage by my side. Zacticum there, you heard on the sports update behind the monitors, keeping things going. Dustin Nielson will be back tomorrow. I do believe in town. Might be at the game tonight, but Dustin back tomorrow. Regular program commencing as well. It is Game 2 day tonight, Kings and Oilers. So happy game day to all of you listening and watching. 780-218-9999 is the number to text, or in the nasty chat, Paris Jewelers inbox. And we're coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. Let's get right into Greg. He's been patiently waiting, and we appreciate his time this morning. He is brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal. Any metal cut to size, ready fast, with 2 Edmonton locations, both on the west end here and on the south side. You can order online, www.metalsupermarkets.com, as we bring in ESPN's Greg Wyshynski. Greg, busy time again. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And let's just get right into this one. The Bobrovsky save last night off the elbow. I'm fortunate enough to have a goalie in studio with me this morning, and the way he was talking to me about it, and just the feeling of the lack of protection there, and knowing the puck's hitting that elbow when your back's to the shooter and you're looking at that net cam is really a moment for the goaltender. But what a moment watching that as a fan, eh? And what a series developing down there in the unofficial state of hockey, shall we say?
It was awesome. It is funny to think about, like, what parts of a goalie aren't protected, and it's like, well, when is the time that a puck would hit there, right? And so, when you're a whirling dervish in the crease taking a save like that, I guess that's when a puck does hit you. But no, man, that felt like one that the Lightning had to get last night. They played a lot better, I thought, than Game 1. They still started out slowly, which I know is a problem that John Cooper had with their Game 1 performance, but rallied in the game, and then it goes to overtime, and then, that's not where you want to be against the Panthers. They've got a funny way of winning those games, with Verhaeghe getting the goal again. So, anything can happen in the series. Back in Tampa, Lightning play well at home, but I picked the Panthers in the series, and I'm not feeling too bad about that pick right now.
Do you think, going back to Tampa, Greg, that the Panthers have shown that they can kind of put teams away? Do you give the Lightning a fighting chance? I know at the end of the season they started to look like the Lightning team of old, but can you see this series going 6 or 7 games, even though you have the Panthers winning?
It could go 6. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if the Lightning can somehow hold serve at home. But I think the real issue with the Lightning team right now is that they kind of are who I thought they were at the beginning of the season, which is a very top-heavy, over-reliant on your familiar names type team with a supporting cast that simply couldn't match the depth of someone like the Florida Panthers. And that's kind of what we're seeing in the series, I think, where the Panthers run 4 lines at you. They're crazy deep. They've got scoring throughout their lineup. And if you look at the names that have really produced for the Lightning in the last couple of games, it's Stamkos, it's Point, it's the names that you tend to rely on if you're the Lightning, and then they have all season. And I think that gets you into the playoffs. But then once you're there, to not have the kind of supporting cast they had in the past, when we had names like Killorn and Gord and Coleman and all those guys down the lineup, and of course Sergachev as well, who's injured. That's really where the lack of depth on this team hits you hard, and it really hits you hard when you're playing a team like the Panthers.
Just going down the line here, Greg, and it's funny, we have you on like week by week, and in terms of hard voting and stuff, certainly things change within a week. But Stanley Cup playoffs now, you're looking at every second night, and you're like, this series is wrapped up. There's no, and then another game happens. You're like, whoa, hold on a bit. And this Winnipeg Colorado series, you talk about depth, we talk about things such as goaltending that gets a team to where they want to be and where they want to go. But you're looking at this thing right now, and Colorado putting 11 past Hellebuyck, and in terms of defensive structure and all these things, that's a really weird series shaping up here. I know Game 1, obviously, with that scoreline, you're kind of looking at it as jumping off the page. And then you're thinking, well, Colorado did get 6 past Hellebuyck, so there could be a recipe there. Yeah, but Winnipeg's taking that first. And now Colorado's heading home with a road split. Just your thoughts on that series thus far, and the fact that we're sitting here looking at a Jets team, which is, littered in depth and a defensive structure and all that, and, kind of bleeding goals here early on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think by game 2 of the series that Alexander Georgiev would be outplaying Connor Hellebuyck, but here we are. Hellebuyck did not have a good game 2 at all, and Georgiev, to his credit, everybody and their mother was basically calling out this guy. We had Steve Valiquette on our podcast, The Drop this week, where he said he looked at Georgiev and he thought he was gassed after game 1 with how much he's played down the stretch for Colorado with them not having another option. And then he comes out and plays, as well as he did in game 2. I mean, not a perfect game by any means, but getting the job done. Colorado just needed a split in those first 2 games. They play extraordinarily well back in Denver, where it's always a tough place to play, but be it the crowd or the altitude. And I think the Avalanche are pretty comfortable where they are in that series right now.
What about if we go to the one series that all the question marks with with Dallas and the Golden Knights and them getting everyone back and being a huge part of game 1 and their victory.
Yeah.
I love the fact in Dallas that now that they're so knowledgeable in a I said a non-traditional hockey market, but I don't know if you can actually say that about Dallas. They've been
there since the 90s. I think that by now we can call it a hockey market.
But usually in states where it's quite there's a little bit better weather. I found it fascinating that they just were booing Mark Stone because even they knew the ramifications of LTIR and what it meant, and now the Vegas Golden Knights circumventing that over the past few years. Ken, what do you think the attitude is like in Dallas now? Were they, gosh, we did all this work, we were first, now we get this the defending Stanley Cup champions with all their team back. Kind of the same thing with goaltending kind of being a question after game 1.
Well, let me get on my soapbox first about LTIR. I've seen people be like, let's install the salary cap for the playoffs. That's so dumb. Why would you want to make the best thing in hockey bad? Like anything that detracts from the entertainment value of the playoffs is something we shouldn't be doing. It's the thing that people always say to me when I'm like, we should expand the playoffs. They're like, well, why do you want to make the playoffs bad? Well, why do you want to make the playoffs bad if you cap the salaries for the lineup and on the ice? It's an easy fix. If you're on LTIR in game 82 and game 1 of the playoffs is 4 days later, and you don't play in game 82, but you play in game 1, you shouldn't be able to play in game 1 or game 2. Just give him a 2-game suspension off the hop in the series, and we'll call it a day. And then there's some comeuppance for teams like the Golden Knights that do this, if in fact it's a problem. The Dallas fans, you got to remember, not only are cognizant of the cap chicanery with the Golden Knights, but they're also remembering the series last year where Stone is the guy that Ben jumps to then get a suspension in that series and kind of shift that whole thing. And so there's no love lost between the Dallas fans and the Golden Knights to begin with. And then on top of that, you get the, Christ-like resurrection of Mark Stone's spleen in time for game 1 of the playoffs. And then you got a lot of fans that aren't happy with that.
A nice rivalry developing outside of divisional parameters in the opening round, which is, I don't mind seeing that at all either. We've gone through the appetizers, Greg. Let's hit the main course. Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, brought to you by Metal Supermarkets. Just your thoughts. Game 1, I mean, as advertised for the Oilers, you got Hyman, the goal scorer, getting the hat trick, the assist king getting the assists. I thought steady goaltending early on, nothing too flashy. But really keeping the Kings at bay, dictating the play. Thoughts on game 1 and your thoughts on game 2 entering tonight? I don't know how likely you are in kind of residing with some sort of a split here, but what, if anything, can the Kings do tonight, and how do they kind of recapture the vibe in this series following an outstanding game 1 by the Oilers?
I love, nothing too flashy for Skinner. I mean, they had to score 6 goals basically in game 1 to make sure that they had the breathing room necessary.
It's all just what we've seen all season long.
I know, yeah. but isn't that Oilers playoff hockey at this point? Just keep going and going and going. So if there is any defensive lapse or goaltending liability, you don't have to worry about it.
Even when the Kings in the second were kind of pouring them on and finding out, you always kind of thought, well, if they do find an answer, the Oilers just be, we see that and we'll raise you that. It just seems simple as that
exactly.
At this stage. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, and to Skinner's credit, he's in that mode of we know you're not going to win us the series, just don't lose us the series. And that's kind of how he played in game 1, even though I think he'd be better than he was in game 1. First of all, clearly Oilers fans should be counting their lucky stars right now that the hockey gods have manipulated the bracket the way they have, because You don't want the Golden Knights in round one, apparently. If you're looking at Dallas, you'd certainly want the LA Kings if the Oilers, because you know how to beat them, right? And I think game one was indicative of that. There was not a moment in that game where it looked like the Oilers were worried about the Kings.
Yeah.
And I think that's indicative of having thwarted them in the playoffs in consecutive seasons. And then look, I think they're going to beat the Kings. So let's go ahead and look ahead. You're either playing Nashville or probably Vancouver without Thatcher Demko. So again, like the way the bracket sets up, I'm not trying to like Maple Leafs plan the parade it here.
Oh, we know what you're. Yeah. We've charted the routes already, Greg. Yeah.
Of the teams in the playoffs right now, there's two that have a pretty interesting path. One is the Rangers, because I do think that they match up well against Carolina, despite what people might think. And the other is the Oilers, because they're playing a team they know they can beat, and then they might be either playing a diminished Canucks team or a Nashville team that I think they're superior to.
I mean, again, we say scare, fear, or whatever, but you maybe more concerned about the Preds now, as opposed to a Thatcherless, a Demko-less Canucks team, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I picked the Predators in that series because I figured they'd get a split in Vancouver and then probably make some hay in Nashville. Obviously, didn't anticipate the Canucks being without Demko for the series and maybe beyond that. But like I've said all year, and I know I've said on the show, that the reason the Canucks are where they are this year is because they had their 5 core players all stay healthy throughout the majority of the season until Demko got hurt in March. Like Pettersson, Miller, Quinn, Besser, like they all stayed healthy all together for the first time maybe in their careers. And now they're getting visited with some injury adversity to maybe their second most important player behind Quinn Hughes. And we'll see how they handle it.
Well, and if you find Elias Pettersson, let the Canucks know, because I think they're still looking for him. Maybe a reward up for the there, Greg. We appreciate your time. And what can people wear again? Can people digest your work? Anything new you got coming up, dropping today? And where can people follow you leading up to tonight's games?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on ESPN.com. I wrote a piece about Peter Laviolette yesterday, having coached the Capitals last year, then getting fired, and then now coaching against them in the playoffs. I also have a story from last night's game. I covered the Rangers-Caps game in which their coach, Spencer Carberry, didn't call out Ovechkin, but called out his play, I'd say, in saying that he's struggling and pointing out the reasons why that's happening. And Ovechkin had a brutal turnover last night that led to the game-winning goal. So you can check that out on ESPN.com.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, thanks for your time, man. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk next week.
Anytime. Thanks.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN. Love what he does. Nice hot lap around the NHL. Brought to you, as always, by Mental Supermarkets. Check them out today, www.mentalsupermarkets.com. 8:42, we're going to get right smack dab into the weekly rankings of power, in which, when Dustin Nielsen's gone, we can't find another Nielsen, but we hope to recreate him in the aggregate, to borrow a famous line. We're trying to do things on our own here, our own different way, and that's okay, because sometimes, like we said earlier on with Eric Macramalla, change is good at times. Keeps the palate different tastes and that such. So weekly rankings of power brought to you right now by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, and unmatched value. The Ranch Golf Club would be a great choice for your first round of the season. Next round opening soon. Book tee times by visiting ranchgolf.com, to which last Wednesday was Jason Milne doing the weekly rankings of power, and I appreciated that from him, talking playoff traditions. This Wednesday, April 24th, new kid on the block day, Joaquin Gage will be presenting us with the weekly rankings of power. Your first weekly rankings of power, Greg. This is a maiden voyage.
This is like my first NHL game. I'm
feeling good?
Feeling good, okay, yeah. So... I didn't know I was doing this.
Yes, I know.
I had to come up with,
sprung it on him.
But going in a little bit of a different direction.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. But still keeping in the theme of EST here.
You're ranking something, and that's all.
These are going to be the top 10 items Dusty brought on vacation.
To San Diego?
To San Diego.
Only 10.
Only 10. It was a couple of them are a stretch, but let's go.
Number 10.
Skechers slip-in shoes. Just he's
recreating him now in the aggregate.
Yeah,
we're gonna dress a Dustin Nielsen starting at the shoes.
He's gotta go on the fly, get stuff done.
Well, a lot of walking when you're on holiday, and Skechers is the brand of shoe that gets you ready to go. Number 9.
Glasses cleaner. He can't be a thief down there. Yeah, it's just he's got to see the sights. He's going to SeaWorld and things. He's got to be able to see us.
Oh man, you get a little splash there on the If you haven't, I don't think I can safely say I've never seen him clean his glasses.
Yeah.
Once.
No,
Have
yeah.
you? Yeah.
Oh, no, I see him on here sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
He gives him a wipe.
Gives
with
him
the
white
shirt.
with
Yeah.
with the shirt, yes. Number 8.
We got sunscreen. You know, Dusty's a little pasty.
He's not the sun and him aren't exactly.
No,
like,
they're
you
not
know.
friends. Yeah. So he's got sunscreen on there.
Little on the nose, little dab on the nose, right? Little on the
zinc,
kneecaps.
little zinc, little war paint.
His legs going. What are you 7? Yeah.
We got cargo shorts. He carries
boy,
a
how
lot
many
of
pairs?
stuff.
One
How
for
many?
each day? Yeah.
Oh, there's at least 7 pairs of cargo.
I
shorts.
dress for mood, and they're just different shades of tan.
And number 6, prophylactic devices. Got to keep those teeth clean.
Yeah.
And, it's...
Well, he's a broadcaster. He knows the importance of a clean mouth and all that.
Exactly.
You got to have that was 6. Number 5, halfway through here. I love it.
Toys. Muzz and and Marshall and Dusty, for that matter. 3 big kids on the trip. Probably brought the toys with them, not like the Hanson brothers.
The video games, right?
The video games,
you got there's a bunch of handheld consoles. They're all trading off and doing stuff.
Maybe even a Tonka truck. Who knows?
Number 4.
Traveler's checks from HR Daddy. I think there's some probably ones left over in Cranbrook somewhere. And,
when you have that connection to HR Daddy when you were HR son, I'm sure there's
you got use these. These are still.
They have to be used.
They have to be used.
That type of thing. Number 3.
A fanny pack. I think Dusty just to keep this everything in line.
Yeah.
Wallet, keys to the camper,
and fashionable as well. You can strap it across your breast or around the. And where are we at now? Number 2.
Number 2 is a workout gear he'll never use. So he went down with all the good intentions of going to the gym, but just did not use them at all.
You cover your ass a bit too.
Yeah.
I had planned to do it, but you can't. Yeah, they were closed. They did this. And the number 1 in the weekly rankings is power brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, in which items that Dustin brought with him on vacation down to San Diego is
Pop-Tarts.
Hey, you got. I'm thinking too. He probably, I bet you he brings back a box of like weird random American
ones.
flavoring or something like that.
He just wasn't sure if he could get the what is it, the strawberry that he really likes, so he brought those too.
Out of the box in that foil and maybe hoop them if you can't get over the border, right? That was the weekly rankings of power brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. I have to apologize, Zach, to him. We have a Vegas qualifier on the line, and he or she has been waiting, extremely patient. We have a name.
Yes, and that name is KC.
Casey? Like Casey Finnegan or KC?
KC, the letters. Yeah, like KC. Yep.
On the line?
Yep.
KC, thank you so much for waiting. It's my fault. Dustin's back tomorrow, so we'll be back on the clock. But how you feeling? You ready to go? You're waiting? Have you been to Vegas before?
Went about a year ago with the family for a kids hockey tournament. Shout out to the Ice Crushers.
Love it. Shout out to the Ice Crushers indeed. Now, that's a family affair. That's a family trip, obviously, and you probably get a bit of alone time. But if you were to win this trip, and courtesy Fly YEG and the nonstop flights, who would you take with you, and what type of time would you have, sporting event or otherwise?
Well, I would definitely have to take my wife. And try see if we can arrange maybe around a Jets game.
A Jets game?
Yes, when the Jets are in town.
The Jets of which color?
Winnipeg.
Okay, I see. Winnipeg Jets, eh? I was thinking maybe you're a New York Jets guy and you want to see a little Jets Raiders action, but you do you, man. If it's Winnipeg Jets, that's cool. You are in the mix, KC. Thanks so much for holding. We'll be doing the draw Friday morning on the Nielsen Show, so be by your phone, but you're a step closer, man. Good luck and good talking to you.
All right, thanks for the call.
There you have it, KC. Your most recent qualifier on the Fly YEG nonstop flight to Vegas. Fly away with Fly YEG. Your next chance coming up between 9-11 on the Hangout with Matthew Iwanek. Sean Bell in the house as well. He's getting ready to join Maddie in the Hangout. Should be a good one. Taking you up to tonight's Game 2, Kings and Oilers. Of course, the GCL Diesel pregame with Tom Gazzola. He'll be coming up this evening as well, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. He'll be live on location at the Hudson's Bourbon Street. That's West Edmonton Mall. Go down and see him. He'll have the gift cards, stickers, lanyards, lots of stuff to make it worth your while. Head on down If you're heading to the game tonight, make that your pregame stop. Or if you don't have any plans as of yet, head on down to Hudson's and make it your place to watch tonight's Game 2, Oilers and Kings. But good luck to KC. And once again, next chance to qualify for the Fly YEG Vegas Flyaway will be coming up between 9 and 11 with Matthew Iwanek on the Hangout. Another chance today on the Lock Shop. And your final chance today will be Oil Stream a little later on as well. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Paris Jewelers inbox. A few good texts as well. Trying to get that text of the day for NW. $20 on the line, so keep coming hard after that. You know what? I got to say, I'm pretty proud of everybody listening and watching today. We're doing pretty good on the likes. 411. I feather in the hat.
Wow.
I'll take it. It's fine. I mean,
That's
you and
amazing.
our expectations were just, again, like you just one segment at a time, one sentence at a time. It's fine. I said 700. I think over the week we totally eclipsed that. So
Perfect.
Don't care how you get it, but we got there eventually.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
thanks, Eric.
Keep the nasty chat flying. We will get in right now to the Orange and Blue Breakfast real quickly, brought to you by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. The Blue Water Group, founded in 1974. It's Canada's largest independent distributor of mobile-branded lubricants. They want to thank everyone for 50 great years. Mobile One and Blue Water, your place for the Orange and Blue Breakfast. Let's go over the few lines again, just from what we saw. Game 1, Kings and Oilers. Of course, Oilers skating to that 7-4 victory down at Ice District. Kopitar yields sunken eyes between Kempe and Lafreniere. Deneau centering line 2 between Arvidsson, who a little snake bit during that Game 1. A few good chances going begging for him, but Deneau, Arvidsson, and Trevor Moore, the leg breaker, the knee smasher, the lower body impaler. Blake Lizotte, Trevor Lewis, Kevin Fiala, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Carl Grundstrom, Quentin Byfield, Doughty Anderson, Gavrikov Roy, and Spence England. And I would assume Cameron Talbot, getting another nod tonight, looking to rebound from Game 1. For your Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, only 5 assists in Game 1. He's between Hyman and Henrique. Henrique with a nice goal as well. You know, I mean, that's...
Hey, the spot.
Yep, it was a nice shot, and you know, it's good to see again a great depth between his last NHL Stanley Cup playoff point to now. But what a road and trip it's been for him, and he'll look to continue that as well, playing on that top line. Zach Hyman, of course, 50-goal scorer, just getting a hat trick as well in Game 1. Leon Draisaitl centering that second line with, I mean, I don't know what we keep describing. He's going to score behind the line one of these times, like I'm talking like feet behind. But Draisaitl with that goal as well. Game 1, seeing I shot. He's got Nuge and Fogle on there. Fogle, empty net goal. Nuge as well, getting a goal. McLeod, Perry, Holloway, Carrick, Janmark, Kane. Defensive pairings of Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse CC, Kulak, Desharnais, and Stuart Skinner between the pipes. Are you, Gage, looking at anything in the Oilers lineup to tinker with, to twist the knob, as we like to say with Chris Knobloch? I mean, again, I'm not asking wholesale changes and blendering things, but would you just kind of re-rack this thing, go back out, you got the win, everything was looking great? Or is there anything else you'd like to maybe experiment on or look at in terms of lineup?
You got to kind of figure out the game, I think. Yeah. He's famous for sticking with what works. It doesn't tinker too much. Yeah. You know, see what the Kings are going to do. I don't mean that by wading into the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, assert yourself.
Yep.
Assert the way that you want to play. Make the Kings make an adjustment, and then, if necessary, counter with some other chess moves to keep, hopefully, keep the Oilers in the win column.
Bob Stauffer chimes in the nasty chat. Don't think it's actually him. There's no wrench or blue check mark next to the name, I assume, but I really hope we don't change anything. People are saying our bottom 6 didn't perform all that much, especially on the score sheet, but I disagree. LA is extremely evened out line-wise. Byfield on the 4th, and that's kind of a good point as well. And I think as a team, as the Oilers are constructed, there are certain nights where that's just fine. I mean, show up, fill out the line, go out there, get the ice time, but if the big dogs are eating as they are, who cares, for lack of a better term, really?
One thing's just caught my eye, Eric, that I have to shout out to Ryan Jagot for names. If I ever grace, it's the show in the mornings for Tales of the North. He's called me Lord E-Bug, which
I
find that a pretty good handle. Well done.
Yeah, you'll take that. Eh? Why not? I like that. We'll jot that down with the feathered quill ink and keep it on a scroll in the back here somewhere. No, it's not. That's not Stoff. It's Bob Stauffer's not showing up in the nasty chat under his born name.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm surprised we haven't seen the wrench. Is the wrench? Do we need to set something up? The wrench usually chimes in.
Tommy the Wrench. He'll be down today. Hey, he's
okay.
Just haven't seen him in the nasty chat. He's usually up and chatting away and chirping everybody, but his silence is deafening this morning. Wrench, if you're okay, blink twice. We want to make sure you're all right. But Tommy will be doing everything today down at the rink, covering things. Of course, we'll have some probably TikToks issuing as well, skates and such as that. And any news from the rink, Tommy will have it for you leading up to tonight's GCL Diesel pregame show. And they'll get underway at 6:30. Another 8 o'clock puck drop, 8:10 anthems.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we have an 8:30 right when we get down to LA, though. That's the which you push to 8:40 and away you go.
Pace yourself.
Key to an Oilers win tonight. What do you got?
Discipline and game management. When bending, not breaking, is the key to an Oilers win.
Can it be so simple as just scoring first?
Yeah,
because Iwanek and I at Game 1 were down there at Hudson's Bourbon West Edmonton Mall, where Tom will be tonight. And when the Oilers score the first, that's the place is bumping, it's hopping. But then they get that second, and is LA actually? And you think of it in terms of the series too. Are they actually going to win 4 games? Are they actually going to score 2 and then keep the Oilers from scoring and then take a lead? You just don't see it happen.
I think it's more important, not so much the team itself. I think the team thinks that they can come back in certain situations, but the splinter of doubt that you can put in Cam Talbot's head by doing what they did previously, scoring the first, maybe possibly even the second. That would be key on the road to securing a Game 2 victory, I think.
I just don't feel like they have the juice to and we were talking about it too, and I can't remember if it was with Mike Johnson or Wyshynski here, but just kind of feel it this time, and it hasn't always been with the Oilers. There are dry spots, there are Saharan deserts when it comes to this team in terms of production of those top dogs, but it just feels like this series, especially in Monday night and probably even into tonight, that if the Kings do provide some sort of a fight back, that they're just popping back down. It's the whack-a-mole game. And just bam, right back down. And so I think if you score, and again, as you're right, the splinter in the mind of Talbot, and just getting that one, I don't even care about a second, but you get that one, I feel, and maybe the Kings, again, greasy goals we did see in Game 1 too. I mean, they work hard, and certain things usually come from hard work, but that only goes so long. You don't win a cup doing that.
They can't keep scoring goals. Hope they're going to get chances like that. The way that the Kings are going to generate scoring chances is essentially outnumbering the Oilers in front of the net and scoring in those second and third chance opportunities.
But I mean, if a guy like Arvidsson and that breakaway, I mean, things do change in moments in game.
There's going to be key saves. Talbot has to. He can't allow a goal that you think, I should have had that one. That can't happen with the Kings because those will be we saw in the past with back-breaking goals for the Oilers. They'd be in the game, and then there'd be that one that just come on, now we got to, the energy that you have to use to get back into the game, it's exhausting. And, playing with the lead, dictating the play, what the Oilers have done for the better part of since November.
Keep it in front of you.
Yeah. Play above the puck. All those little adages that you hear, right?
And I know we talk I focused on that Fiala chance early and Skinner coming up large in the spot, and it was in tight and everything, but it's 7-4, and I know a lot of those Kings goals you could argue, the garbage variety with 37 shots. What did you make And I find Wyshynski's comments strange too. And somebody in the nasty chat said, Skinner's the guy that's not going to necessarily win you a cup, but it's that he could also lose. So where do you come out with this? Because was he tested to the might that you would expect from this Kings team? Because again, the score, 4 goals, yes, a few of them went, but 37 shots. You got to be impressed with the play, but it wasn't anything too flashy.
No, but there's going to be parts of the game where he, those 2 moments. There was 2 moments where he had to be better
nailed them down
than the LA Kings, and it was the Fiala shot that he had to be on his toes, and the Arvidsson save on the breakaway.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 moments. And if I look back, the Talbot, the first 2 goals against, I find that they were both very stoppable pucks, and that's the game right there.
Yeah.
Those are key moments, and I disagree a little bit. Skinner I said it before, Skinner has to be, for the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, Skinner has to be mentioned in Conn Smythe discussions by the end of it. It's simple as that. The Oilers aren't deep enough defensively to go all the way with that core. Yeah. I don't think. You need superhuman moments from Skinner along the way.
Outstanding, and I really appreciate the privilege of having a what do you call it, Lord E-Bug along my side to kind of get these get in the brains and the thoughts of what's going on here. But it should be fascinating. Again, happy game 2 tonight. Get buzzed, do whatever you got to do. 6 o'clock or lager, buck off the 4-pack, Safeway and Sobeys liquor. You got Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen Studio. It's hot in here. Great food. The poutine, the wings, the chicken, the flounder sandwich. Maybe you want to treat yourself to a little pregame lunch this afternoon. Maybe you're coming hard after text of the day today, as I do have a few finalist qualifiers that I'll get to off the air, but we'll be sending somebody to A&W $20 for that. And we also sent off Pizza Guy Justin. He's off to Mr. Mike's, $25 richer in Mr. Mike's money today as well. So lots of varieties to get ready for tonight. And that all leads up to Hudson's tonight, West Edmonton, Bourbon Street. Tom Gazzola, Tommy the Wrench, he'll be there doing the pregame and postgame shows. The GCL Diesel pre- and postgame shows right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. So keep it locked. We'll be setting up the game all day long. Your next chance to qualify for the Vegas trip as well. That keyword coming up in the next 2 hours with Matthew Iwanek on the Hangout. Keep it locked here. For Jason Milne filling in, Dustin Nielson back tomorrow, so everything's kind of back on track as well. We'll be recapping Game 2. For myself, I like to thank myself for kind of keeping this on time. For the Nasties, we're at 4:37. Look, I'm not going to play anything or anything otherwise, but I do want to leave with this little snip of audio.
When I'm wearing leather, the Oilers are better.
One more time for people in the back.
When I'm wearing leather, the Oilers are better.
Joaquin Gage, thank you very much for your time and coming in here and cosplaying with me and the whole bit, the Timbits.
Thank you, man.
It's been wild.
I've seen it in the Nasty Lars at Y. We've chopped wood and carried water, I think.
Damn it, that was the job ahead of us, and that's what we did, right? Like I say that. And for Zachkin behind the monitors as well, and YouTube Trev Stead, and we thank him as well. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Hangout coming up next. Matt, I want your next chance at that Vegas keyword, 9 to 11, Edmonton Sports Talk. Keep it locked.